Well, I'm ready whenever you lot are.
I've been ready for ages. I'm just killing time, man.
I'm a sad panda.
Good.
Excellent.
What?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zcast post-season 5. We're here. We're at the end of the long road. Weary
Or
travellers.
Season 6, depending on the way you want to look at it.
No, it's not. no. Weary travellers. I feel like a weary traveller. Do you feel like a weary traveller?
Season 7.
Yeah, HK, you really should feel like a weary traveller. The problem is, it's only going to get worse.
Great. Well, on that note, how was your weeks?
And, like a week off, it was great.
It was
Like,
good.
like sleep.
God, riveting.
I did-
Absolutely
I did
riveting.
the same thing. Did the same thing that I always do. Wake up, do stuff with Rebel, spend the next 6 to 8 hours working on the calculator, pass the hell out,
God, you're a tedious
wake back
bastard.
up. Yep.
This isn't quite the energetic intro I had in mind. Just letting you
I
know
had an
that.
absolutely crippling migraine last night that was so bad that I got out and started walking around the apartment complex at 2 in the morning, and someone thought I was deranged and drunk. That was
That's slightly better. Slightly better. Slightly better.
It's more interesting. Yeah, no, HK, you've spent so long just keeping us here talking and not actually getting this started that we're bored now.
Yeah, bye. See ya.
Yeah, we've actually been here since Monday afternoon, trying to get this started.
Yeah.
Don't act as though you've been like
Well,
pushing me to start
We've been
it.
sitting around on this TeamSpeak call for about 30 minutes before HK got us started, so we're a bit bored.
Wow. Bearing in mind, they literally don't stop talking. By the way, guys, it's just like dead
I do
noise.
stop talking. I stopped talking to let people read stuff that I pointed them to.
Dead noise in your brain. And that's the Zcast.
No, HK, that's the wind whistling between your ears.
No, I'm pretty sure that's just your voice.
Wait. Are we talking about our proposed motto again? The Zcast. Dead noise in your brain.
No, but that's a fantastic idea. I love that. That's going on the channel right now. Anyway, the Tenkaichi Bowl for season 5, guys. Epic stuff going down. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it.
I enjoyed my part.
The
I liked it.
rest was shit.
That's
When I
because
was on
Byrne
there,
likes
that's when
watching-
it was great.
That's because Byrne likes the torture and suffering of all of the divisions.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, and I like the fact that people didn't go past the second round. I appreciate the fact that people didn't get past the second round, given that Squee made it less difficult from what HK and I made it.
Yep.
I think that's
I
cool.
know.
I'm happy about that.
Mm.
And the fact was that you could look at any of those matches and go, that's completely possible to get through. What the hell are your players doing?
I'm not
What are
sure
your
that,
player choices?
I'm not sure that the second round is technically any weaker than what you guys put. The first round definitely, but I think the second round, I believe my exact words to HJK were, let's just leave it and let them burn.
Yeah, maybe. I think that might have been the case. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, probably.
However, we aren't heartless. We did actually realize that perhaps double latent energies on a fused Gogeta might not be the best thing in the world.
No, that is the most
Yeah.
awesome thing ever,
Yeah,
and it
that's-
should stay.
I think that's genius
I thought it was
building.
completely reasonable.
Even though I say so
Yeah.
myself.
We did a really
Genius.
good
As
job
much
on
as
that
I
one.
would love to see how much damage things would do on that last bar of health, or not do.
Yeah.
Minus damage, yeah.
Could you just imagine? Oh my God, it's a father-son Kamehameha! It's 1,000 points of damage right there. Huh.
The thing is, you'd be
Yeah.
really excited at that because it would be like 12 points of damage per melee combo until then. It's like, oh my god, 1,000 points!
Yeah, and the thing is that all of that melee would just be being healed back up again.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Yes, the
Genius
father-son
build.
Kamehameha actually gives him health at the rate it's healing.
Oh, awesome.
There we go. So, the gauntlet. Let us go over who went through. The first round, it was North Kai and West Kai who failed. Miserably. Fell on their faces. Pathetic.
Yeah, it was really bad. really, really bad. And
East
really
Kai
funny.
and South Kai did slightly better. They fell on their faces and were pathetic, but they just crossed the finish line.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got the second round where they just... Yeah. Well, to be fair, the second round, I think... I've always thought this about the second round. The first round, you have to do like really well in terms of a general league game. So if you do as well as, say, a good Super Saiyan's performance against round 1, you'll be fine. Round 2, you can't afford any player to derp at any time to win. It's got to be the best game possible for that team. And then round 3, you've got to hope for the other team to derp, pretty much. But we'll get to that probably next
It's
season.
not even that. You've got to hope that things tip in your way. It's not even hoping for them to derp. It's just like you've got to hope that the dodging works properly. That it is a completely flawless performance taken to the next level. Almost like okay.
Honestly, I think you better just hope that the third round isn't Hercule with a bunch of red Pataras. That's what you need to hope.
Squee, we said not to say that. Damn it, Squee, you let it out of the bag. Oh well. Guess
What? No, I'm saying you
Right.
gotta hope it's not that. I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying that your dreams should die. Is that's what I'm saying?
What in general? Just
In
Any
general.
dream.
In general.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna get a job? Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, chicken. God.
She
Wow.
doesn't like you.
Wow.
Jesus.
What a turn! What a turn! The gauntlet. So
Smashing your hopes and dreams in all aspects of your life.
I do want to point this out because a lot of people were complaining. I want to make it absolutely clear. The gauntlet is just that. It's a gauntlet. It is supposed to be hard. And I said this during the Tenkaichi Bowl, but I'll reiterate it. Passing the first round isn't what everyone should do. It's an achievement. If your division gets past round 1, you should actually be proud of that. If your division gets past round 2, you should be popping champagne bottles and declaring yourself a genius. And if you actually manage to ever get past round 3, that's what I'm saying. That's the difficulty this is supposed to be at.
Yeah, this isn't supposed to be a thing where we have a winner every year of, the strongest players or the strongest players that you can come up with reasonable builds go through. It's nothing like that. It's not like playing another league game. It's way, way more than that. And, you win a league game with, those sort of teams that you're putting out there would be winning league games with 3-4 bars, maybe even several players remaining. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Won't happen against the Gauntlet.
That's
the
what I'm
whole
saying,
point of it
yeah.
is that it's difficult.
you can't just have a good league performance as a way to win the gauntlet. It's got to be flawless when it gets to round 2 at least.
And then some.
Yeah, round 3, and then you got to do more and hope they do it. But yeah, I agree. You need it. I would prefer it if people got a bit closer.
It is possible to win.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
so you guys are aware,
Absolutely.
it's possible to win. We've run the tests. It works.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Well, hang on. Have we ever had anyone win round 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I had 18
once.
win round 3.
well, nice.
To be fair, it was quite a long time. But, they got there.
It was a while ago,
and
the team was very, very good. It was a league team. You guys are aware, we ran it with just, we didn't even put any special builds on people,
Nope.
Designed. It was just a league team with a build.
The last build they
Good
used, I
team.
think, but just edited to...
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
Pretty sure it was it was a 4-man Super Saiyan team with the last builds that they'd used, which I think, if I'm not much mistaken, was up against...
Was it?
Yeah.
I think it was just the North guy.
Yeah.
I remember a Vegeta in there, which I guess it was...
Oh,
Super
no,
Vegeta.
that was it, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
it was N Vegeta, Marjube.
Oh god, yeah, who was it?
It was N Vegeta, Marjube. Fuck.
Muscle.
Please tell us.
Muscle. It was the
Please
muscle
tell us
player.
because this is
Oh,
going to be
here we go.
next year's Gauntlet too. So
N-
please
N-
tell
okay,
us.
Here's what it is. It was N Vegeta, Marjube, Bojack, and
Oh my god, who was it?
fuck, I'm missing
Oh, it was a
one
Boo.
player.
Was it a Boo? It was Boo in North Kai?
Kid?
Was it?
No, it wasn't Kid Boo.
No.
It was
Evil Boo.
Gohan.
It was Evil Boo. It was Evil Boo.
Evil Boo. Yes, no, it was Evil Boo
Evil
because
Boo.
he always came out second.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There was
Bam.
the team that won
There's your team that you
with the
want.
last builds that they used.
Yeah. We're not going to tell you which
And
builds it
that
was. though.
team, yeah, no chance.
now
They might
I'm
not have even technically been legal.
I'm
but-
fine with next season because we're not going to change the builds for round 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because obviously we found builds that work. And I'm talking for your opponents. I'm fine with next season doing it like this, where you can have a build for round 1 and a build for round 2, and choose one of those for round 3 because you have no idea who you're facing. I'm fine with that. It might allow some people to get to round 3, which would be kind of fun. But because here's why I'm fine with that. Because if we do that, if we let them build for each round and they prove to be too good, Rebel, I can always just let you do what you wanted to do in the first place next time.
Awesome.
They're not going to be too good for round 3. That's
No,
pretty certain about that.
no, that's true. Yeah, that's good.
What?
What? Sorry, Ben?
What?
Nothing.
What did?
Anyway. Oh dear. It was nice because before the bowl, we didn't actually. None of us knew what the builds were because we didn't remember it off by heart. So I had to go searching through them, and I saw them, and I thought, I just want to have a look at round 3's build, and I thought, oh, that's going to be so fun. Oh dear.
And the best thing is like people, because I wasn't at the stream. I just wasn't going to be a thing. But I'm pretty sure I imagine some people in the stream were saying that round 2 was unbeatable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the thing. Round 2 was actually, when I tested it out, was actually something like a 40% win rate for the league team. There was something like 40% win rate in it.
Wasn't round 1 50? I'm pretty sure round 1 was 50.
Round 1 was 50.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Because we calculated, didn't we?
Round 2 was either a 40% or a 30% win rate, and then round 3 there were a couple of wins in the thing I did. So as far as I was concerned, that made it possible.
My guess is round 2, a lot of it comes down to if your team lets them fuse or not.
Yes.
Because especially you saw in South Kai Division, if they had just stopped Goku from fusing, I bet you anything South Kai would have gone to round 3.
I don't know about
No, I don't remember the fusings happening very often when I tested it.
They didn't have them when we tested
I
it.
specifically remember the both of like the solo people, so Goku and Vegeta, just kicking the shit out of people.
Well, that's
what I meant. That's what I meant is that a lot of the wins were probably because they didn't fuse.
No. Like I remember, like those two single-handedly taking that team out. So the fact that they fused was probably. I don't think it made a difference, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I think it might.
I think it might because obviously you've got defense +4, haven't you, with a character and lots of health. But Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is not gonna. I thought he was better than Goku when we tested it.
Oh yeah. No. I'm not suggesting that if they don't fuse, you've got an easy fight on your hands. They're a beast anyway. But I do think that Gogeta is stronger than either of those two characters. And when you get a Gogeta with 9 or 10 health bars, that's a ridiculous obstacle.
Gogeta is the second best character in the game. I think that's a fact. Actually, mechanically,
if you have to fight a Gogeta with 9 or 10 health bars with defense +4. And then if you're even able to take him down and make sure he doesn't tag, then you have to go against another Gogeta with pretty much the same build but latent energy.
Which is almost as devastating, isn't it? I think I checked the forums. I remember there was a discussion. I think there was some guy who posted saying it caps at 7 bars. So something like latent energy will keep going up until it's 7 bars down. And then it will reach a peak. At least that's what he's saying. I haven't tested it or anything. But
not from what I've tested.
Have you tested it with someone who's got more than 7?
Well, no.
That's the thing. I mean, he was saying it wasn't needed.
I can do it.
He was saying it wasn't, important because there was no player in the league that would be more than 7 bars. But obviously, at this point, we found one, and it's in the gauntlet. Ding.
Yep.
But anyway, at the same time, looking at South Kai's performance particularly, I don't really remember East Kai so well. But Margin Vegeta was very clearly the reason you had no chance.
Yes.
Of winning that.
Yes. Clearly.
That son
God
of a
damn it,
bitch.
Margins, what the fuck?
I know, the Margins need to pull out one good performance.
I mean, you saw my commentary. Majin Vegeta, all you gotta do... What are you doing?
Mountain Road does that. It messes with the psyche.
Apparently.
I love Mountain Road. Fucking awesome, man.
But you know what? This is what I like about the Gauntlet. Everyone, no matter what team you're from, no matter where you are, everyone's cheering for our boys and girls to win. No one's cheering for the Super Saiyan 4s, except maybe Rebel
I
over
was.
there in the corner. Yeah. but it gives a sense of camaraderie, because instead of the chat room being divided, everyone's just like, come on!
It's like a common enemy kind of thing, isn't it?
Right?
I like that,
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
They're like the Borg. We made the Borg.
We're not calling it that, by the way. It's still the gauntlet. Iskai, like I said, I don't really remember their performance. I know Janemba wasn't very good, but I don't.
Yeah, he was definitely the weak link.
Yeah,
in
okay,
that.
I don't understand that. Who was the Blade's MVP? Who was that? Cyborg Town? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You have Tapion. Just off bat. You have Tapion and Trunks as options, and you pick Janemba. Can someone please explain that one to me?
And even Durangel was like, guys, I'm telling you, he's very inconsistent.
No,
I've
I
got
know.
nice
Like,
shiny
in the
Tapion over here. And they're
customization
like, no.
threads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic.
It's almost like Durangel's like peddling Tapion. I was like, look, he's shiny. You don't
Yeah,
want
no,
him."
absolutely.
But we'll get one free right here.
Yeah, buy Tapion and get Trunks free if you don't like Tapion. It's perfect. Come on, guys.
Or you can just get Janemba, which is in the bin right now. So it's a faulty product. Sorry.
He was
Janemba.
a blue light special.
He was in the McDonald's goodie thing. He was just a toy, really. If anything, he cost more to throw in the bin than you just buy. Anyway, on that note,
I mean,
takes up quite a big
even at his best during the gauntlet fight, even at his best, he bought time for 17. That was all he did.
it was just cannon fodder. Can you imagine that little? They're both 17 and Janemba on the bench watching. I don't know, Piccolo get beaten up, and 17's like, "So you're next, Janemba. Just give him. Let me stretch my
Buy some
legs
time,
until
will
I
you?"
come back." Yeah.
It's like patting him on the back. Do a good job.
He's got like an arm missing. His face is bruised out. It's like, well done. Good job. I'll just go do it now. Then 17 comes back and half his head's missing. It's like, okay, it wasn't that easy.
I will say this though, that the round 1 victories were some of the closest nail biters I have ever seen.
No,
Yeah.
That 17 victory, and especially that Jace victory, because I remember when he came out, Bern and I were like, dude, they can't win. He'd have to take down. Oh my god.
You'd have to like do an ultimate, go to max power, do it. He's doing it. Holy
Good
shit!
old Jace. Gotta love Jace.
Good old Jace.
Oh dear.
Although during the second round, he also sort of derped pretty hard as well.
He was not the same as the first round, yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yamcha, though.
Well-
Yamcha. Give
Yeah,
him
it's because
credit.
Yamcha
Yeah.
stole all his thunder the second round.
He was not
Yeah,
bad.
Yamcha though. Yamcha. He is one of my most consistent characters. Period.
He was literally
You
just...
say consistent. He was a bit meh the first one,
Mm.
surely. That's not consistent.
Well,
Okay, fine.
Well, no,
He can-
no. But you can't really blame him that one because Yamcha didn't have much time to do anything. He just got trashed.
Yeah, he was against Gotenks, right?
Again, one of the weaker persons
if
we
I remember
tested.
correctly.
I was gonna say the weaker
Yeah.
members. Of
It it doesn't matter. The Gotenks has a faster melee.
Uh-huh.
That means he'll get up under Yamcha and be able to just outclass him, because every hit stuns.
I don't care
So
what you
that-
guys tested. Gotenks was a beast in that gauntlet. He
Yeah, he was.
That's why
carried
it's
that
so weird.
fusion team.
I mean, Gogeta was just like meh.
Gogeta was a punk. He was getting beat
Yeah.
by everyone.
Vegito
He was
was, as usual, amazing. He's probably the best
I mean,
player on
look-
Fusion.
Look, I'm sorry to say this. I don't mean to sound rude, but he was getting punked by Gohan Boo.
Ouch!
Wow.
You heard it here first, everyone. Slap in
Yeah.
the face.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Gohan Boo's not a bad character, but you would never, no one would have guessed, oh yeah, Gohan Boo, dude, he would pwn Gogeta. No one would sit there and think that.
Who was your starter? You had... I forgot your start?
Kid Trunks.
Oh, yeah, right, fair enough.
Yeah. Which, in the second round, he did a pretty good chunk of damage to
Dude, in the second
Think it was
round, he was
Goku?
fantastic. He almost killed Super Saiyan 4 Goku by himself, and then
Yeah.
Majin Vegeta had to go in there and
Ruin
fuck
it.
it up.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh, and also to be fair, for the first round, Yamcha got hit with an ultimate, which did almost 21,000 damage.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
So that's why he was lackluster.
Well, you gotta
Was
stay
he
sharp.
took half-
Gotta stay sharp against
And
these
because he's
people.
unreliable. I mean, what can I say?
Hey,
Look, I
Hey!
think there may have been a concussion involved.
may have.
That's what made
there
him
may
perform
have.
better.
Yeah, the next round. Oh dear. Anyway,
We're actually considering introducing helmets into Season 6.
God, what
well, hang on a minute.
wicked
Sayman's
idea.
already got one. Is that illegal
No.
then, or what's going on there?
Can you just imagine everyone with the Saiyaman helmet?
I would cry, because
Hey, look, these solar flares don't work anymore.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All of the solar flares don't work.
No, you know what? I actually
Oh,
think it's a
no.
completely reasonable thing to introduce. I think we should do it immediately.
No.
Just got Frieza in his and every transformation it grows with his head. So for this third one, it's just this enormous helmet.
Oh, awesome, with horns all over it. Oh,
Oh god.
awesome.
And then with his final form,
Why
it's
would
just
you
this,
even do
this,
that?
this just this mask, this really elegant looking final form Frieza with this Saiyaman mask on. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea.
no.
We're looking for modders still. Anyway, with the
Because
gauntlet,
we haven't run. Because you guys haven't run that joke into the ground. Have you?
we haven't actually done it in the Zcast.
No.
So
No, that's
There you
true.
go.
We have tried to avoid it. HJK.
no, I haven't. Anyway,
Hang on. I couldn't say this because my mouth was full, but when Frieza goes back down to a final form, the helmet still stays as big as it was in his third form.
just rolling around his head.
Oh god.
And on that note, we shall move on to the MVP tournament. Not quite as many derps this year. However, we gotta give credit to
More
Nam.
interesting though.
Gotta give credit to Nam.
Yeah.
Man of the match.
That was fantastic.
That was the best
Yeah,
ever.
that was.
Yeah, there was only one real derp, but man, was that a derp.
That was great. I love that.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
I think
I
he's...
sh-
Vin
s-
didn't like it.
You sort of saw that one coming, and it was like, oh no.
See,
no,
now
what
I
are
didn't
you
even see it coming.
doing?
I thought it would stop. I thought it would
Really?
just stop.
Oh no! Like the range on that thing doesn't stop for anything.
I know. It's
No, it
literally the arena.
He actually has a bumper sticker on his back that says, "I break for no one."
No, he actually has the bumper sticker on his back that says "I break for water."
That's probably
Don't
what he
forget.
saw. He probably
Right.
saw
Break the
water
water.
and shit straight through it.
No, what I loved
Yeah.
about the MVP is there wasn't a lot of dirt, but there was some really nice, like Cyborg Tao. He's getting
Yeah,
trashed.
that was good.
He's getting absolutely getting his ass handed to him, and oh look, ring out.
And then you got Jackie,
Or
Jackie Chan.
the mid Goku versus Frieza. It was like he took the muffin button, and Goku's like, oh, I'm pissed, and Frieza's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It was good.
You're pissed? I'll just knock you back.
I do love me the MVP matches.
Yeah.
Of which Cell was crowned the winner, supreme being of DBZ
Yeah,
League for
Cell did
season
well.
5. Mm.
Mhm.
Well, not bad. He is blue, which just takes it down a notch. But apart from that, he's all right. Yeah, whatever. There's not really much else to say about the MVP, is there?
No, it's a fun
Yeah.
it's a fun match, but it's not like yeah, I mean it's not like you can really analyze what happened. It was just a good match.
It was just it was
fun.
just interesting.
It was just fun derpy matches.
In which case, we shall move on to the main event, the bowl
Which
itself.
again, it's not like you can analyze what happened.
The bowl itself. Team Androids versus Team Muscle, a recreation of Season 1's final in more ways than one. Give me your
Yeah.
thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
In the ways that it was a fucking clean sweep. Jesus.
Such a
That
shame.
especially that first match. Now I know some of it was preparation and some of it was just the dice falling right. But damn, like Piff said it himself, that was just nothing but hard counters. The androids just went up against every bad matchup you could come across.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was really, really bad for them. And it was, I don't know, it's been really, really weird for the playoffs.
I think that
Because
too.
the team has almost flipped back to the way that you kind of expect it to be in terms of muscle. Where you just have Android 13 sitting on the top with his arms folded and just like propped up on the rest of the team. And just like throwing lightning bolts and incinerating people just because he feels like it. And yet you saw nothing of that during the main season. He was the worst player on their team.
I need to go back and actually watch it, but I seriously think that is the fastest I've ever seen someone go from full health to nothing.
It was
17 versus
pretty
Android
quick.
13. It was like 15 to 20 seconds from full health, not an ounce of damage on him, to, oh look, 17's dead.
Yeah. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And the
I
thing
agree.
is, like, I'm looking over the builds, and it's not like the AI for 13, like, for most of the season, 13 was on Cell AI, right? And, for bits of it, he's been on TN AI. And, he's been pretty consistently bad in those instances, right? But towards the end of the season, he was still pretty bad. You get to, like, where does he start on Piccolo AI? He started on Piccolo AI. That's my phone. He started on Piccolo AI in weeks 14 and 15. Right, wasn't in 15. So, yeah, he was started on in week 14, right? And in week 14, I don't remember anything particularly special about him. And then, just that one AI change gets into the playoffs and suddenly starts doing stuff.
Literally
And
does
that
just get
one-
into the playoffs
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, he seemed like, week 14, he's alright, as far as I don't remember anything particularly special about him in week 14, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I was still like, yeah, he's still not very good. And then you get him to week, into the quarterfinals and semifinals and then to the Tenkaichi Bowl, and he just gets progressively better. And it's like the single thing, pretty much, that wins Muscle the bowl, almost. Like, because if you think that, say you keep the rest of Muscle playing as they were in that game, and then the androids playing at the level that they were, without 13, that turns into a much closer match. Like, potentially even table-turning close. Like, just that level of performance from 13 was the one thing that Muscle 100% needed to get through that.
Agreed. I completely agree. I mean, I was happy in the fact that it wasn't like either of the teams derped. Androids brought a good game. They really did. It's the kind of sweep that you would prefer to see. There's the sweeps where one team is just horrendous. And then there's a sweep where one team's good, but the other team is just unbeatable, almost. And that's what we got in this Tenkaichi Bowl.
Yeah, no, it was just fucking hell. It was ridiculous. But the thing is even looking at those, that's the kind of performance that you look at and that I look at, and look at all the people that were saying, oh, that nerf to 13 was ridiculous and it was too much and that's why he's never going to be as good as he used to be. And it's been one I've been waiting for. I just point to that and go, really? Really? Because that is the level that you expect from 13. Like, that is the single reason, that kind of performance, as to why nobody with a brain was taking 13 lightly, despite how badly he's performed for the rest of the season. You just cannot take him lightly, because there is always the potential of just that coming to play. And that just ruins a party.
And now, because of that performance, we're not allowing him to have any AI at all.
Yeah, he's not allowed to build.
No.
Yeah.
But,
I think that will be a nerf that people can obviously agree with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll just edit the post right now to put that in there. See how that goes down.
Oh yeah, just so everybody's aware with the announcement, I edited the initial post just to link the coach tryouts and the team roster master list thing in there as well.
Master list. Imagine like a
So that's
holographic
fun.
list just appearing out of the floorboard.
There's just this old bloke with a beard, and just holding up a bit of paper with some scribbles on it. This is the master list.
Just like some doodles and everything, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
this is the master list here, yeah.
And it's the master list because I'm the master and it's my list. You thought there was something important on this? No.
It's not about DBZ
my
League, it's
shopping
just, shopping list.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the bowl then? Squee, Burn?
No, I wasn't really paying much attention before bowl.
Wow.
What?
Uh,
Off the
What?
Zcast now.
no. I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see. I wasn't really going one way or the other. I thought it would have been a nice poetic ending if the androids had won the second. The rematch basically. But I wasn't really going one way or the other. I was hoping for much closer matches though. That would have been really cool to see.
It would have been good to see closer matches. Yeah,
But no, I just I mean, kudos to both teams. They both worked really hard and they won the Tenkaichi Bowl. And the thing is that it's there's a lot of random number generation in the league. There's a lot of sometimes it's just not your day or whatnot. But no one gets to and wins the Tenkaichi Bowl without competency behind their teams. So I mean, good job to both of those teams.
I would clap, but we've got push to talk on, so I can't really do it. No, I can't. No. Okay. So with that, with the bowl, comes the end of Season 5, and with the end of Season 5, we must look to Season 6, of which there have been a few changes. You people who
I'm
are...
short-sighted. I can't see season 6. It's too far.
Sorry, I'm talking. People who frequent the forums will have seen some Season 6 changes. I will read them out to you soon as I get them up on on the website that I'm currently on.
Do you want me to read them?
Nope, got them. Okay. Now I'll read like the big boldy colouredy bits, and then you guys can talk about like the reasons behind it, etc. The first change is that the Super Saiyans will be forced to start in Super Saiyan 1.
I think what the Super Saiyans really needed was to be more powerful. So we did a lot of testing, we figured everything out, and we decided that Super Saiyan 1 form for all the Super Saiyans was much better. That they would have a much better chance winning their matches. Obviously, the Super Saiyans haven't really had a very easy season.
Exactly. I mean, they lost twice.
And they've
Jesus
struggled.
Christ.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've struggled an awful lot. So, I think it's definitely a much needed buff. It doesn't say it in there. We're also talking about giving them free +5 to every single stat. It's something we're mulling over. We're not quite sure if it's.
Did we nerf that down to just +5?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think we agreed on that.
we did. I think
Compromise.
some bleeding hearts decided that +10 was a bit too excessive.
I know.
All right.
You got some, but whatever.
No, we found out, as I stated in the post I made. The thing that was hard about the Super Saiyans, even though everyone and their mother was crying to nerf them all throughout the season, which I want to bring this up to everyone. It is remarkable to me how people only cry someone is overpowered when they win. It doesn't matter how powerful they are if they lost the match. But anytime someone wins a match, someone somewhere is overpowered. A perfect example is during the playoffs where you had Teen Gohan and Adult Gohan do almost the exact same amount of damage, doing almost the exact same thing, which was spam a B2, where Teen Gohan was spamming Super Kamehameha and Gohan was spamming Super Madan. Both got the same cost of energy. They both did it almost the same number of times, and yet only Teen Gohan was overpowered. No one said a thing about Adult Gohan, who did the exact same thing but just happened to lose.
Yeah,
So
here's the thing: people don't look at that. People are looking at the result. So they're looking at the 13-1. I guarantee you, right? Next season, let's say for the sake of argument that Ginyu Force or Rugrats goes to 14-0, right? But every single one of their games comes down to the final punch. And yet they're 14-0. I guarantee you that at least 50% of anybody who does anything involved in this, and I would hazard a guess to include some staff members in that one as well, would say they need to be nerfed. Even if every fight comes down to the last punch, and they just happen to get the last punch in, or the last Kai Blaster. I guarantee you that would be a thing. Because people are not looking at the actual performance, they're not looking at the players, they're not looking at either the deeper statistics or the actual performance, they're looking at the end result.
Right, it's
Very
just
true.
human nature, but at the same time,
So
It's also
aware of it.
stupid.
yeah.
my whole point was the difficulty with the Super Saiyans, and the staff took a long time on this, is that the Super Saiyans have strong players. There's no doubt about that. Those players are strong. But that's only half the story. The other half of the story is that the people behind the team know their team. And we've said this over and over. They just know their team that well. And that's why their team is so powerful. So it's really hard to find a way to balance things, because on one hand, what are you going to do? Tell them to be stupid? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to, like, this was something we really brought up, is like, I have, faith that we could probably give them the worst nerfs we could think of, and they could put their heads together and probably find a way around it. Just because that's how well they know their team. But the thing is, we didn't want to punish anyone too badly, because a lot of their wins did come down to the fact that they just countered the team they were fighting. They put the right build on the right person at the right time. And then when you add that to the fact that they had really good members, you just have a recipe for success. So what we did find out, however, though, is on a purely academic level, that Super Saiyan 2s and Ascended Saiyans get some really nice buffs that we didn't really think the team needed. It's not like they were hurting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically we decided that we just start everyone down in Super Saiyan 1 form. Now, it should be made clear that this isn't bad for all the characters. Trunks actually performs better in Super Saiyan 1 than he does as Ascended Saiyan. He doesn't look as cool, but he performs better. And of course, and then there's Adult Gohan, which I want to make this clear as well. When I did my test, and the thing is, I did a lot of tests. Basically, here's what we did. Here was our basic process was, okay, we propose a set of what do we want to do to the Super Saiyans. Like, for example, how about we just put everyone in Super Saiyan 1? Then we ran a test. I think I ran a test against every team that was above them in the rankings, to see, I think it was best F3 for every team, to see if there was an acceptable win-loss record. And there obviously was, otherwise we would have gone back to the drawing board. But while Adult Gohan was a beast, he was counterable. I saw the right person with the right build. I saw Saiyan Woman 2 kick his ass 3 times. 3 times. She showed him the door. And so Adult Gohan may be strong, he may be powerful, but he is very counterable. And I will tell you, it is because of a certain trait that she had. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. I'll let you guys try and figure that out for yourself. But in case, and no one said anything about it, I'm more just trying to stop this before it becomes a thing. There is no one on the Super Saiyan team that you cannot counter if you know how to do it.
Yeah, that's the same with any team.
I'm going to get off
pretty
my
much any
soapbox now.
Along with Trunks,
Your soapbox is mine.
along with Trunks, at least from my testing, and Goku does really well in Super Saiyan 1 as well.
Oh, makes
So-
a change.
Yeah, it makes a really good change. He actually does amazingly well.
But I will say that when they were all in their Super Saiyan 1, they did win less.
How often did they transform? Do you remember?
In my testing, only Gohan transformed.
In my testing, you at least had someone go Super Saiyan 2 at some point. And oddly enough, you also had a lot of reverts. I don't know, I guess it's more likely for them to revert when they're only Super Saiyan 1 as opposed to Super Saiyan 2, which is always amusing to see, like, Vegeta go, where'd my power go?
Yeah. Oh, and there were a couple times where Super Vegeta actually went Super Saiyan 2 then tagged.
Yeah.
That's coming back.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is quite a throwback. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, nostalgia. But yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that. To be honest, all makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting. The second change for season 6 is that Hercule will be getting Draconic Aura for free.
I'm actually glad that no one. I was expecting there to be like the hell raised and pitchforks grabbed, but I'm guessing everyone's just kind of understanding. Again, I should point out that this thing with Herc we've been dealing with since maybe halfway through the season? Not halfway through the season, but I mean months.
Yeah,
A long
Months.
time.
a
And
long
months.
time. Especially
we
given that we've had like the 2 weeks between.
right,
Yeah.
right.
We even went into the ISO and tried to make it so like change his base stats, and we couldn't find the actual right hex codes. But still, we tried doing that too.
Yeah, it was something
So-
that we looked into.
So here's what we
Yeah.
did, and here's the fundamental thing, because I want to make this very clear, because it's not like we're going to make a habit of just buffing characters. What we did is we saw that Hercule had some disadvantages, like, for example, a B2 that only works half the time, and melee that doesn't stun anyone, that no other character has. And the thing is that we force Team Derp to have Herc because Herc is the spirit of Team Derp. It's pretty much a special case where most teams we say, no, if you don't want him and you can have someone else do it. But Team Derp, we specifically say, no, you have to have Herc. What's Team Derp without Herc? And because of that, we sat down and the first thing we did was, okay, does he really need help? Is he broken, or is it just a build thing? They're not finding the right build for him. So we all, as a staff, put our heads together and said, if we built Herc, how would we do it? And the staff, I mean, you would think that the people on the staff, we know builds. We may not know specific characters, but we know what works and what doesn't. And we did an enormous amount of testing. And the truth of the matter was, with his base handicaps, he would not perform at an average level. He just would not.
I think the best any of us got, was I got him to do, I think, a 40% win rate against Android 16. I think we basically what we did was we tried him against average level players, so players that were ranked around about 40, and that we felt were generally decent, consistent, good players, and to see if we could get a decent, reasonable win rate off that. And yeah, the best I got, I think, was something like a 40% win rate against 16, and those wins were close as well. So it wasn't. Okay.
Right.
But,
Well,
yeah.
and the sad point and the problem with that is that we would have, like, some builds would do okay against 16 and then get trashed by Nail. I think we did Trunks, 16, and Nail were the three we chose. Or some would do great against Nail and get trashed by 16. But the point was, we couldn't get him, despite our best efforts, to perform on an average level. And that was bad. And we actually tested this just as a control. We took the worst character in the rankings, which was Chi-Chi, and tried to do the same thing to her to make sure that it was something, to Herc and not just, every bad character. And I did it on the first try. I got acceptable win rates on the first try, just making a build off the top of my head for Chi-Chi. So it really was something wrong with Herc. And so then once we got there, we decided, okay, so what can we give him that's not going to be insane? And we threw out a whole bunch of ideas, and it came down to this.
Lots of arguing.
Oh my God, there was. And it came down to this. One of Herc's biggest problems is the fact that he can't stun anyone in melee. You don't really understand how important that is until you take that ability away, because even if he's not doing much damage, because Herc's melee is one of the worst in the game, but losing the ability to stun people, in other words, making it so that everyone you fight has a natural brick wall, is horrible, because melee, even if it doesn't do damage, it breaks up the opponent's game. It keeps them from firing B2s, it keeps them from grabbing, it keeps them from doing damage to you, which every character needs. And when you take that away, you're at a severe disadvantage. So what we ended up doing is we gave him Draconic Ore and then a 7-point build. And from that point on, it took a lot more testing, but we were able to find ways to make Herc perform at an acceptable average level. And that was just from the builds that we gave him. There's potential there that you could build him to be a good player or even better. So, Draconic Aura, basically, it's not a boost so much as taking away a handicap that no other player in this league deals with, which is not able to stun any opponents in melee. Now he can stun opponents in melee. And if you give that and then give him a 7-point build, he becomes a much more viable player. I will say that the one thing that you have to trade off, which I'm sure Team Derp will be fine with, is you can only give him 6 Pataras. They can be 7 points worth of Pataras, but there can only be 6 because I only have a certain number of slots. But if you're putting 7 1-point Pataras on Herc anyway, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
But that is it. That is the only character. We have no plans whatsoever to give any boost to any other character in this way. And I want to make
you're on
that
your own,
very, very
folks.
clear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's all fine. Yeah. 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 And yeah. Again. Like Burn. Do you have anything to say? I'm at a loss here.
No, I'm good.
Me neither. Me neither.
Right
then.
I'm good.
The next change will be another Batara related one. Power Body will be returning to the league. One per team, not on a Rayleigh, Bobbity, 1920 Cell, and Kid Buu.
Yes.
Again, let me go ahead and explain this. The thing is that a lot of people forget this or don't realize it. Power Body was never banned because it was overpowered. Even when it was banned, none of us considered it overpowered. The whole reason why it was banned was because it promoted lazy building. If you remember, when we banned it, we had 5-point builds and 4 players with no rotation. So what people would do, it's a 4-point Patara that basically makes you not immune, but very resistant to strike attacks. Doesn't count for smash attacks, but basically it gives you a brick wall. Imagine Legendary Broly. It basically gives you that for 4 points. And it's a useful ability. It's really useful. I think that it's 4 points, so it's more than pays for itself. But the fact was, back then, it was such a useful ability that every team would stick 2 of them on 2 of their characters, and that's pretty much your build for that character. Which means that if you think about it, that's almost 50% of your build right there was just Power Body. And a lot of teams, even my team, were doing this because we just felt at the time it was that useful. So we banned it not because it was overpowered. No one thought that Power Body in and of itself made characters insanely overpowered. We just thought it promoted lazy building, and we wanted you to think more about what your builds were. So we banned Power Body. Now we come back, it was starting season 6, we have 5 players with rotations, we've got 7-point builds, and we thought about it, and we're like, there's no reason why we can't introduce Power Body back in. It would give a lot of teams a lot more options with what they want to do. But if we limit it to 1 per team, just like we do Eternal Life, then we don't have any worries whatsoever about it promoting lazy building because, it's 4 points out of a team of 4 with 7-point builds. So that's why we've introduced it back in. And because our goal is to give you as many options to build characters the way you want. And it is undeniable that Power Body, well, I won't say undeniable because the league's evolved. So for all we know, with the way the league has moved, Power Body could be worthless now, but it gives more teams more options with how they want to build certain characters. And the reasons we have certain ones banned from it, because we've had a couple people asking about that, Kid Buu and Rayleigh have natural brick walls. So to give them Power Body would just be not a good thing to do because they're already hard to stun, and you give them Power Body, they become impossible to stun, and that's just too much. Other people like 1920, Bobbity, they have healing grabs, basically grabs that drain health and or energy, and we tested this a long time ago. If you give them Power Body, it basically takes away your ability to stop that grab. And I remember testing 20 once with Power Body, and he would defeat people at max health because all he would do is, it's not all that he would do is grab, is that every time he tried to grab you, he grabbed you. There was no way to stop it. So they're banned from it. Everyone else should be fine. There are some people, there was a thing where
it is ridiculously powerful on those characters. Some people were asking as to why it wasn't banned for people with B1 healing moves. I did address this at the time, but effectively they're already banned from using pretty much AIs that have a tendency or are supposed to end up using B1s, as well as an awful lot of B1 based Pataras. And the fact of the matter is that we very rarely see B1 healing moves used at all to begin with. And also, to ban them from Power Body as well is so limiting in terms of the other things that you use Power Body for that it's not worth it. If there becomes a time when, people suddenly somehow start using B1 healing moves constantly, and Power Body is a thing that makes them unstoppable, bearing in mind Power Body doesn't make you immune to punches, it just makes you less susceptible to them, and it's counterable. Bearing in mind all of those things, then yeah, okay, we'll think about it. But as it stands right now, that is not even something. I think it was brought up briefly, and yeah, it's not even a thing.
Right. Think about how rare it is to see anyone in this league use a healing B1. I think it maybe happened less than 5 times this entire season.
Less than a handful of times this season. Agreed.
I know it's less than 10 total, but how many times they actually got it off was less than 5. Yes.
But even then, you're talking about less than 10 times over the course of 8 matches a week over 15 weeks.
Yes.
Right. So, and like Rebel said,
I'm agreeing with you.
And like Rebel said, if we see it being a problem, that'll be one thing. See, usually we don't like to change things in the middle of a season, but that is something where if we see this being a problem, we'll address it when it happens. It will not be a problem for long. I'll put it that way. Another thing to just point out, because some people are asking, well, what about like Android 13 and Broly, who are naturally have brick walls? Which, believe it or not, Android 13 has no natural brick wall, even when transformed. Normal players can stun them with normal melee, which is weird because you think 13 would have a natural brick wall, but he doesn't at all, period. Broly does when he's transformed, but think about how often he transforms and at what point in his health does he transforms into. Yes, Power Body will stack with that natural brick wall, but you're talking about I don't see Muscle wanting to use this, and even if they did, you're talking about spending 4 points to give Broly a huge brick wall effect on half a bar of health, which is when he normally transforms. That is a huge cost for very little gain. So, and again, it's one of those, if we see it being a problem, like if somehow they get Broly to start transforming really early, or something weird like that, then we'll address it. But at the moment, we don't see it being a problem big enough to restrict Broly from using it.
It's also worth pointing out regarding Power Body that it's not just 4 points for a brick wall. It's 4 points for a natural-ish brick wall effect, and on top of that you have -1 defense. Which seems to be something that people kind of overlook, is you're going to be taking more damage for using Power Body. So you might think, okay, you shove Power Body and Attack +2 on someone, the amount of extra damage you're going to be taking is going to be quite substantial. So,
very, very true.
You know, it's definitely a positive for an awful lot of characters, but there is a negative to it that is quite a nasty one to swallow.
I will put this out there because it's been so long that basically a really good uses for Power Body are if you want someone to have a great melee game and you're not too worried about them taking more damage, it's fine. Another good trait for him is a lot of characters that have Rush B2s. I mean, everyone sees this all the time. You have a Rush B2 that gets knocked out from a back fist. In other words, like they rush him and then Frieza just kind of bitch slaps him and it completely kills that move. Power Body is a good counter to that because he can bitch slap you all he wants. It ain't going to stop it from hitting. So it has its uses, but like Rebel said, a -1 defense, it adds up, especially if you have things like Attack +2. You know, so it's not like one of those where you couldn't put you want to put Power Body on someone and Attack +2, and I mean your character is just gonna bite the dust really fast.
Yeah, it's not like Eternal Life,
And
where it's
also
pretty
the
much
negative-
just a benefit all round.
Yeah.
But
No, indeed. Absolutely.
you were saying, Rebel? Sorry.
No, the month.
No. Okay, fair enough. The next change for Season 6 is Dragonball Z League will be moving from TGN's channel to the DBZ League channel.
That's your cue, Squeak.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
I was just waiting for someone else because I've been talking so long. So here's the deal. TGN is making some changes here and there, and the big thing is that they Dragon Ball Z League goes up on their hub channel, and the definition of a hub channel is supposed to be kind of where you go to get gaming news and gaming trailers and those kind of things, and they want to move away from having a full-length, long-lasting series on the channel because it's kind of counterintuitive to what you think of when you think of a hub channel. But that does not mean that they don't like Dragon Ball Z League. They love Dragon Ball Z League. But they also want to grow on Twitch, which a lot of you may have noticed. I stream 6 days a week now on TGN's Twitch page. That's my job with them now, is I don't really make many videos for them anymore. I just stream. That's my whole purpose, is that they want me on their channel as much as possible because they want to grow their presence on Twitch. Because Twitch is becoming more and more of a viable thing in today's market. And Dragon Ball Z League is going to be a huge part of that. They want, and it already is, it is the largest drawing show to their Twitch page, and they want it to become more of that. So what you've noticed in the past few weeks, and what you'll notice even more in Season 6, is that the live stream is becoming more fun to watch. Like, all the stuff I used to add and post edit, like the music and the screenshots and all that stuff, is now being added during the stream, which is an absolute nightmare for me, but I'm working with it. Because we want to encourage people to come to the live stream. And it is true that, I mean, it is the best way to experience the league, is to be there live and watch it as it goes down. But they are not going to have the show on their hub channel next season for the reasons I just said. They want it to be more like a hub channel. So my point is that don't think that they're abandoning the league. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm in works with their graphics team to make all new graphics for Season 6. We're going to make the stream really cool. But they just don't want to keep it on their hub channel. Now, so here's what's going to happen. Dragon Ball Z League Season 6 will still be streamed on Twitch just like it always was, with all the bells and whistles that comes with. And we're going to move the show back to the original Dragon Ball Z League channel on YouTube, which is basically where you're watching this right now. So all the tests, all the Zcasts, and the show will actually be back on one channel, which I actually like that. I like that you can find everything you need in one spot. No one has to worry. Dragon Ball Z League will always go up on YouTube because I understand that not everyone can catch the stream. And I promise you, there will never be a time where it is a stream-only show. People who miss it will be able to watch it on YouTube. It's the only thing that's changing is what channel it's going to go up on. And also, I might not spend 12 hours a week editing it to make it all flashy and peachy keen. I might make quite a little less quality, just for my own sanity. I have not decided yet, and I'll kind of leave it up to you guys which you prefer. I kind of like the idea of keeping it as like a 4-episode format once a day, a little bit a day, because I don't really like the idea of uploading 2.5 hour video. I think that's a bit too long. I kind of like keeping it, but I'm curious for feedback what you guys would prefer.
Personally, I'd rather the whole thing go up. Like, just from a personal point of view, remembering how I did coaching, and also just from a watching point of view, I'd rather it all went up at the same time on YouTube.
I mean, honestly, I'm not opposed to that. It's easier for me. I don't have to divide it up into episodes.
Yeah, I would love it. I would personally love it if it all went up, because then next year, since we're going to be doing week by week, the big problem with the beginning of this year, the stats, a lot of people weren't able to wait for the episodes because we needed to get them in by Wednesday. So if we go all 4 episodes up, or the entire thing up, they can just go through the entire thing on Monday.
Then I tell you what, and again, I want to hear feedback from people. Here's what we could do to make things very simple and very easy. I just do a straight raw recording of the stream and then throw that up on YouTube, meaning no post-edit. I don't cut out, because normally here's what I do. I do the match, then I stop recording, and then we talk for a little bit and get ready for the next match, and then I start recording and we do the next match. I could just record all the conversations of me and Piff between the matches, just have it as one big file, and just throw it up on YouTube. And if that's the case, I could throw it up the night of the stream. So you would have it like Monday morning. If everyone's fine with that, then hey, I mean, like I said, that's less work for me. I'm fine with that too. Because it was on TGN's hub channel, it had to undergo a certain level of quality. If it goes back on the Dragon Ball Z League channel, who cares? If you guys are fine with it and I'm fine with it, who else needs to be fine with it?
Well, let's have a look at another angle. You could argue you're going to be attracting new people to the league through the YouTube channel.
Yeah, but they're watching. If the main event is going to be the stream, you're just giving them the stream experience on YouTube. So it's just taking the Twitch stuff and throwing it on YouTube.
Imagine you just come across a channel called Dragon Ball Z League. You go to it, and there's a 3-hour video of the DBZ League thing. Now, you and me, we'd probably still watch it anyway. But there are a lot of people who wouldn't bother watching it because it's a 3-hour video. That's why videos are usually, 15 to 20 minutes on most other channels, and they were on
I don't
TGM.
know, you say that, but then you have some very big and very popular channels, Total Biscuits channel being one of them, and a lot of like StarCraft 2 channels being other examples that have videos that are multiple hours long, going up and still getting exactly the same number of views as everything else. If someone is interested in what the video contains, the fact that it's a 2-hour-long video won't actually make a difference, because if they're interested, they will start watching and maybe skip through a bit and think, hang on a second, this is actually interesting, maybe I'll watch it. And YouTube has this wonderful thing where if you go back and watch a video that you've already started watching, it'll generally take you back to the same place. And so you can just carry on watching.
That's true. There is another solution that might solve both the problems. There's nothing saying that I can't just upload 4 episodes all at once.
There's also
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
There's nothing saying that I can't just split it up into 4 episodes, but just upload all the episodes back to back. The only difference would be, well, actually, it wouldn't be much difference at all. Actually, you would get access to it faster, because instead of waiting for a 3-hour video to upload, you would get a half-hour episode much faster, and while you're watching that, the rest of it, you know what I mean? So I could definitely do it that way. I might not do a Vegeta skit after each episode, though, because that's insane.
Well, then what's the point? Fuck it.
What's the point
But
of
yeah,
the
you know what?
league
Yeah.
squeeze?
Like I said, I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't just when I wouldn't even have to do post edit. I could just during the stream stop recording every, say, half hour and start recording again.
Yeah, just every couple of matches, just stop recording and then restart again.
Another question, and I'd have to figure out how to do this, but it might be possible as well to, I don't know if people would care or not, but put the chat up. Like sometimes you have the screen, and then you have the chat on the side so that people can see what was being said during the matches. I've never really been a big fan of that, but some people might be, so I could leave that up to you guys. Again, like the people, I'm interested in hearing feedback.
I don't know.
You've gotten 3 people's feedback. I don't understand the problem.
Yeah, you've gotten our feedback. Jesus.
Wait. Rebel thinks he's people. Oh, that's cute.
It's more than one being. That's right.
Certainly plural. Yes, I agree.
Oh dear. The next change for the season 6 is a master list for teams' potential characters.
Right. Worthwhile pointing out on this one. This is a list of people that fit the theme of your team, and should, for the characters that are currently on teams, should they ever not be on the team. It's not people that you can recruit immediately and all of your options. It's people that fit the theme, and as far as we're concerned, would be allowed in the league. It's a master list of people that could potentially be on your team, not that you can recruit just immediately regardless. It's worth pointing out. Because some people seem a little bit confused as to why that is, as to what it is.
Right. It's basically some of those people that are eligible to be on your team will never be on your team simply because they're on another team and that team will never give them up. But we wanted to get a list out there so that this list should stop all of, is this character suitable for my team? What about this character? What about that character? Just go to the list. If they're on the list and they're not taken, you can have them. Which we should also probably point out, this is a perfect time to point out how we're going to be handling adding new people to the team and what if 2 teams want it, because there have been some questions on that, so let me go ahead and get that very clear. Any team, as long as the player is on your list of who can fit on your team and they're not taken up by another team, like for example, the Saiyans can't start testing for Fasha, no. Let's say a perfect example. Let's say Dragon Ball Warriors wants to test early Goku. Early Goku can fit on their team. Early Goku's not taken by another team. What they can do is they can request tests. They can request all the tests they want. Let's say Earth Defenders also want early Goku. They can also request tests for early Goku. There's no problem. Both teams can request tests for them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. There's no staking the claim in that sense. What happens when we say these is first come, first serve basis is if one of these teams, let's say Dragon Ball Warriors, comes up and says, like to the staff or posts it, we will put early Goku on our team next season. There's no question about it. We know we want him. He will be there. If they do that and no one immediately says, no, we want him too, like, what would you guys say is reasonable? Within a few days? You know what I mean?
know,
Like,
well, here's the thing. If Dragon Ball Warriors turned around and sent one of us a PM and said, we want early Goku on our team, the other people who have him as an option haven't said so.
right, but what I'm asking is like, let's say they send a PM and then the next day another team sends them a PM. The only difference is that maybe both of them wanted him at the same time, but one team had trouble getting feedback from their players. You know what I mean? Like, that's so close that in such a situation, I think they should be allowed to contest for that. Because I don't want to make it so that you just happen to get your PM first. Therefore, there's no way the team that happened to PM right after you can contest you. That's a bit too harsh.
Alright, in that case, we say 24 hours. I guess that would be reasonable.
I would say this, that they should publicly state, we are going to have this person on our team, and then if no one responds within 24 hours, it's theirs. Because, first of all, one of two things. First of all, I like promoting contests, teams fighting over players. I think that's good. I think it's great for the league. It gives us stuff to do during the off season. It generates, I should say, good-natured drama. But also, basically, I think it's absolutely fair to say, we want him on our team, and then you say that publicly, and then if within 24 hours no one has contested that, he's yours. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. If someone contests that, then you guys fight over him.
And then you can have, like, you each build the same character and have them fight. Bam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when we say first come first serve, what we mean is if someone says, and we don't just mean testing, we mean you literally come out and say, we want him on our team. And I want to stress this to avoid possible cheating. If you come out and say that and no one contests you, or you contest for him and win. No, you know what? No, and no one contests you, because if you contest for him and win, you can do whatever you want with him. But if you say that and no one contests you, that character will be on your team this season. No ifs, ands, or buts, because I don't want someone going in there and saying, we want him on our team, just so you can have exclusive testing rights and then decide you don't want him. So if you come out... What?
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
Okay. So if you come out and say he will be on our team or she will be on our team, they will be on your team unless it's contested. But testing, you can request test all you want. It's basically if you come out on a public forum and say this person will be on our team, and 2 weeks later someone comes and says no, we want them too. Oh well, tough luck. They called them first.
Yeah. Fine then. Yeah. And that way you kind of, make sure the more dedicated team gets the player. So there you go.
Yeah.
Byrne, you haven't had much to say, so I'm going to give you time on the spotlight now with the 6th change. All teams will have access to the player calculator.
All right. Well, this is the thing that I've been working on since February, pretty much. It hasn't been day by day, but lately it has. But the basic idea behind it is it's a thing where you can pull down a list and it shows every list of every team. Like, I want to look at the Blades, and then in another cell it'll pop down a list of, okay, the Blades have access to Sword Trunks Super Saiyan 1, Super Janemba, and all that. And then I click that character. Let's say Sword Trunks. Then it lists out, like, their base charge rate, how much an energy blast does, how much a rush blast does, how much the rush blasts per volley does, their max HP, their rush blasts, their smash attacks, just everything. Their base B2 damage, everything. And then there's another area where you can go, okay, let's see what happens if I put key +2 super -1. And then it automatically updates and says, oh, instead of full power energy ball, or no, this is 17. Anyways, instead of full power energy ball dealing about 8,000 damage, it now deals 7,200. See? that kind of thing. And it allows you to, without having to go in and, well, it gives you somewhat of an idea of what a character could possibly do going into a test. It'll create more interesting builds. From what I can tell.
It basically gives you raw data that you can use for your
Yes.
builds. You can literally now say, well, what happens if we put quick fast attack on it? Well, I can now exactly, specifically, easily tell you what happens if you put light fast attack. And not just what happens in general, what happens to this specific character with this specific build.
Yes.
You can like do a whole build and see how it affects them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A completely, totally full build.
And it even says, when it says AI, it says will work or will not. Right? Right?
What?
Is that not?
I'm not touching AIs on this
Damn it.
thing. There's already so much stuff that I have a certain area which, like, for Android 17 didn't, not sure if you guys knew this, but deflects all rush blasts in max power mode. Just automatically deflects them.
Nope, didn't know that.
Yeah. Did you know that Android 19 only charges to 2 bars his base key power passively?
Yeah.
Everything else is either through grabs or through melee.
To be fair, I know everything about the League, but I don't know what you're asking me these questions.
Alright.
But these are the kind of things
It's-
you'll know with the player calculator.
Yes.
I think this actually may be more likely to replace tests in general. Just go to the player calculator, especially in the season.
I don't know. I think there's one thing that, as hard as I am on tests, they do give you an idea of vaguely how your player might perform with an AI. The player calculator is going to be about stats and what the player can do. So what their abilities are. It's not going to have, videos demonstrating how the AIs work on each player. Unless, Burn, you really want to do that.
No.
I mean, it's not going to be very much
No.
work.
No.
Oh, God, it's not dedicated,
Jesus Christ.
really, are you? Come
No,
on.
look
The
at it.
fuck,
Oh my
man.
god. Okay. Basically, I designed this so that it would be a supplement to tests. So you could go into testing going, okay, according to the calculator, this idea has merit. Because look at that damage, rush blast damage per volley. Oh my god, that is amazing. Let's see if he can do this on this AI. And then you try and find the AI for that, or if you can't find an AI, oh well. And that kind of thing.
It's going to be good.
It's more of a supplement than a replacement.
Is there an announcement date? That's going to be released worldwide, North America.
Huzzah actually asked me that question, so I will refrain until then.
Oh, no comment. I see how it is.
Yes, no comment until the actual Zcast questions.
Fair enough. The next change for Season 6. Coaches that step down cannot select a replacement.
I think
Yeah.
we can
Yes.
move on. No.
Yeah.
Well,
Whenever, so people are stepping down from being coaches, and in the past, every now and then, what has happened when coaches have stepped down is they have turned around and said, "Okay, I'm stepping down as coach of this team. This person is taking my place."
Yeah.
Now, Coach Tryouts was something that we did previously. I think the Ginyu Force. Yeah, I think I did it for the Ginyu Force
Yes.
a couple of seasons ago, or a season ago. And that was a thing that we did for then, and it was very interesting. It provided a very interesting outcome, and it was cool to see how people dealt with their players and what their reasons were for that. It also provided, or provides, an opportunity for people who either wouldn't necessarily consider coaching, or people who are just completely new to the league. It gives them the opportunity to actually be a coach, rather than it just being an old guard thing. So rather than it just being people who've been there since Season 1 and are friends with the coach who was there previously, it gives the people who have only just arrived the opportunity to show that actually they can do the coaching position, and gives them a chance to be in that position.
Right, and if anyone's asking like why can't the people who've been here longer have first pick or whatnot, there's something to it. Like, we always want to stay friendly and open to new people. We want new people to come to this league because, let's face it, I'm pretty sure most teams out there wish they had more supporters. And if you make it to where a coach just hands it down to who he knows, there's going to be a lot of people who come here, and there's a big chance that this could turn into not like an elitist, but like a clique that is much harder to get into if you weren't here a long time. Like, basically, if you're a newcomer, you come to Dragon Ball Z League, you've been here a month or two, you understand how it works, but you know there's no chance in hell you could be a coach because you don't know the coach, then you're much less likely to participate or even try. We don't want people to feel like that. We don't want people to feel like they can't join this team or that team because they're not part of the clique. And you never know. There could be someone who's new. A perfect example was Burnerator. Burnerator, when he started and he became active in the league, he took, I don't know, Burn, how long did you take? Like a week or two? Just studied how it worked. And within a few weeks, he was coming up with really good builds. And, you know, by the previous system and all that, if he didn't know the coach that well, he never would have been a coach for the Earth Defenders. And that you saw what that kind of coaching did for the Earth Defenders. We don't want to ignore that kind of talent if it's there. So we want to give everyone a level playing field. We're not saying that you can't be a coach. We're simply saying that prove why you should be a coach.
Yeah, and that also goes for the people that have been here for a long time, because the opposite is equally true. It's like, well, I've been here a long time and I am obviously better than anybody else, or I'm more likely to be better and more knowledgeable than the other people. Well, if that's the case, then you should be capable of proving that. You should be capable of sitting up to us and saying, okay, here is my build, here's why, and this is why you should, this is why I should be the coach. And what you have to remember as well is that if you are a reliable and active member on the forums, and you've been around for a while, that can potentially, I say potentially, act in your favour. Because to a certain degree, being a coach is about just being around, posting the builds on time, and being active in your subforum. So it's not necessarily just the capability to do builds that's taken into account in that regard. So, in a sense, people who've been around for a long time might have an advantage. But then again, it depends how you come up with things, and it depends whether we think you will be reasonable and reliable.
Yeah, that's very true. We should. Yes, it's very good to point that out. If you post a good build, but we see that you've been a part of this team for a long time, and you only post once every 3 months, and you might not be as attractive as someone who posts every day, all day, always working on that team. So we do take that kind of stuff into account. So, yes. And I want to explain how this is going to work because there have been some questions about it. What will happen is if you apply for a team, or if you want to try out for a team, you will... are they PMing you directly, Rebel?
Yeah. Okay. The way, I'll explain.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's going to work is there is a thread on the forums that is linked in the announcement thread now. It's also on the general discussion forum, where you will go, and in that thread specifically, there are all the instructions as to how you do it, how you go about it, what you need to know, and what you need to refer to when you're doing it, and all the instructions for what I want to see. And then in that thread, you will declare saying, I am signing up to be, or to try out to be the coach of this team. I think currently we have Super Saiyans, RUGRATS, Derp, and Blades are the 4 teams that we're trying out for at the minute. You can sign up for any of those teams. It doesn't matter whether you're currently assigned to another team. You can try out for whoever. You won't be taken off your current team unless you're made the coach. Yeah, so don't worry about that. You're just applying for this point. So you'll declare in that thread that you're applying to be the coach of that team, and then you will go away and make a build for the whole team against the team setup that's in that thread. I think that, let me check. Team is, you'll be up against a team of Marjube, Chiaotzu, Team Gohan, Tambourine, and Pilaf. Just as a demonstration. You don't necessarily have to use that in your consideration of your build, but you might find it helpful. And then PM me the builds, as well as your reasoning for why those builds are there. I will store them up, and at the end of a week from when that post was made, which was 5:30 British summertime, so on 14th of July, at 5:30 my time, I will close the thread and there won't be any more applications, and I will post all of the builds and all of the applicants in the staff forum, and from there we'll chat about it for however long we feel is necessary and come to a decision.
8 months, I think, will be probably.
Yeah.
Now,
At the end
and
of season 7, we come up with the coach.
I want to make this very clear because some people have risen concerns about why the applications aren't just posted publicly, and I'm gonna put out a reason why, and then I'm gonna let you guys know that don't worry because they will be at some point. The thing is, the reason why you're PMing them to Rebel is we don't want other people to copy off the first poster. We don't want someone to go, well, okay, this guy posted a build. Oh, that's a really good idea. I should do that too. We want this to come and to know that this comes straight from you and your research and not just being copy-pasted from someone else. So we want it so that you can't see anyone else's post at first. Now, what will happen is, after the staff comes to a decision, we will post all of the applicants' submissions, and we will, one of us, probably me, someone will give a rundown of what was good and what was bad with the submission in a nice way, basically just in a way so that we can say, look, here's this submission, we like that they did this, they should have done that, and then we will basically, so it'll be very, very clear why we chose the applicant we chose. The idea is not to do everything behind the closed doors so that we can generate conspiracy theories about we just chose who we liked. We want to be as open and honest as possible, but we can't do that until we've already made a decision because we don't want other people to copy off each other. But rest assured that you will understand why we chose who we chose.
Yes, that will be something that we'll post up.
They gave us some bitcoins. Right.
I mean, we will post a scanned copy of the check that they mailed to us.
We're very open about it. We're very open about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been bribed, and
Yep. And
you got a problem with that?
Yeah. Just go over the teams, I guess. Just one more time, the teams that do need tryouts. They
teams are Derp, Super Saiyans,
Super
Blades,
Saiyans,
and
Blades.
Rugrats.
Rugrats. If you are a fan or feel like you could be a good coach for any of those 4 teams, apply now while stock still lasts.
I will say this, I doubt this will happen, but let's say no one applies for, I don't know, the Blades, but like 6 people apply for the Rugrats or whatnot. What we might do in that case is if we had...
extend it for the Blades and say, right, here's the trial for the Blades, carry on.
Well, what we could do is also is if let's say there were 2 people we liked for the Rugrats and we gave one to the best person, the second best we could say, we really liked your stuff. Would you consider coaching the Blades? We could do it that way too.
I think that's something we need to discuss.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to
it. Let's see. I don't think it's going to be a problem because I think
likely, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
The next change for Season 6 is that new max health tests are to be introduced.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah. Basically, the idea behind this is you get to choose whatever character you want to fight against, whether it's be Dr. Wheelo or whoever. Put a build on them that you think you want to test against, and put an AI on them, and go to town. They will have 8 bars of HP, or no, 7 bars of HP. Then the whole point about this test, Squee?
Okay, the point of this test is that you'll get a much more accurate reading of what kind of damage your character does. Because the problem with tests is it's one-on-one. And in a league setting, you're facing more than one opponent. You take down an opponent and another one comes in. And we want a way to simulate that without actually doing tag matches or full matches that would kill the tester. Let's say you have a character with 2 AIs and 2 different builds, and you test both of them against, say, Fasha or whatever, and both of them win. Well, that doesn't really tell you a whole lot other than both of them won. Well, good job. This way, neither of them will win, probably. If one of them does, dear God, you've got something on your hands there. But most likely, they won't win. But what you'll be able to do is say, okay, consistently, this character did 6.5 bars of damage, whereas this one only did 5.25. So consistently, this character does more damage than that character. In addition, it'll help weed out things like, for example, is your character someone that can last a long time, or are they a glass cannon? Do they come out, do a massive amount of damage, and then just kind of peter out? You'll be able to tell this stuff now that you couldn't in a normal test, because sometimes they'd come out, do a massive amount of damage, and then the test is over. This way, you can see, okay, that's great. They might do great against the first person, but what happens when this is gone? Do they still have the ability to compete? These tests will give you much more accurate information for the league's purposes.
And this is only for the postseason, right? This is only for the off-season, these tests.
Yes, only for the off-season. During the regular season, we will still hold that you can only test AIs, because once the season starts, we want most of your testing to be done on the field.
Yep. Fair enough. If you want to do a max test, I think you just request it in the new Season 6 test thread. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. And then just put max health test, please. The final change, last but by no means least. In fact, I think this is the most important change for the entire season. But that's just my opinion. New coach banners will be available to coaches.
Wait, I didn't give you the permission to have opinions, HJK.
Wow.
Where's the fuck, dude?
Well, I just ignored you.
No, you're not allowed opinions.
No.
They're dangerous.
Again,
They
we've been doing this for...
No, I don't like this.
God,
This is
how long
silly.
have we been doing it for? Like a year, nearly a year? I've learned to ignore you. It's taken all this Zcast time.
God,
but
it's taken
that's
you long
just-
enough. The fuck?
It's just taken me long enough. Now it's just dead noise, as we said before.
Good.
Anyway.
To the Zcast.
Coach banners. That was it. Coach banners. Yeah, these are optional if you want coach banners. I think, Burn, you're making them?
Yeah, I'm going to wait until all of the new coaches are already chosen and everything, and I'll whip a bunch up. But I'm going to make them for you anyways. It's up to you whether or not you want to use them.
If you can explain what they are specifically.
Basically, it's a banner similar to the team banner that you guys have, but specifically saying, hey, I'm a coach. I'm the coach of this team. Because I've noticed lately that sometimes it's hard to figure out who the coach of each team is and that kind of thing.
We wanted originally to give
for-
you
for
guys
new players.
badges, but then we realized how hard that was.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do that
We mean
anymore.
Rebel, really.
You mean
Told
me?
us. Yeah.
I turned around and went, no. No.
Yeah. Rebel bitched and complained, so we didn't actually do it.
That's pretty much how a
Bitch
lot
and
of
complain.
stuff
I
goes, yeah.
explained to you how much work that would be. I left the rest of it up to you.
Oh dear. Sorry, I just wanted to point out when I asked Burn that, I literally turned my head as though it was right there.
Wow.
I think I'm going crazy.
Going.
So on that note,
What do you mean? We're sitting at the same table.
oh yeah,
I don't-
shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I turned my head to Squee and not you. Anyway.
What a dick.
I know. Sorry.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Yeah, poor
With
Squee.
the changes out the way.
I promptly slapped him because I told him not to turn his head towards me.
Yeah,
to
that's
look
why
upon
I didn't
such
speak for a
greatness.
while. I still got tears coming. Anyway, with the changes out the way, we shall move to the Zcast questions from the viewers. Some of these questions were meant for before the bowl. I have edited them slightly so they are still relevant now. So hopefully you don't mind, God forbid. The first question was by Dimension Satire. He asked this at June 29th. 2014 at 4:18 p.m. A more relevant question would be, what did you think of each team's preparations for the gauntlet? Did any stand out as impressive or unique?
Why did you have Janemba? Why was Janimber a thing?
Yeah, why? Why? I guess what comes most to my mind is
That wasn't his division. He's off the hook there.
I know, but
Yeah,
why was
he's off the
Janimber a
hook.
thing? I want an explanation.
We're going to sit here until someone types one out.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
I I kind of liked what North Kai was doing, sort of. I'm not so sure that they should have gone with Future Gohan, but the rest of their team was pretty solid, from what I remember.
What I found fun. There's one little thing I did notice. You've got Westkai's division, right? You look at it report, and replies are like in almost like there's dozens of replies. There's at least 10 pages nearly for Westkai. Then you get the East Kai. It's like 12 posts. Yeah, that's a good enough build. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And then they actually get further than Westkai. A slap in the face.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Right, it's funny actually. The two threads that did the least in terms of posts.
Got further. Yeah.
Got furthest,
That's
yeah.
just weird.
Well, to be fair,
No being fair on the
Wolf
sequence.
started a Skype message string about 2 or 3 weeks before the whole Gauntlet thing started.
sorry?
So we've been talking about it.
I'm sorry, you cheated. You did this outside of the preparations.
Yeah.
That's
Jesus.
Wow.
I think that needs to be invalidated and all of the coaches removed.
I think
Wait,
so.
wait. So what are you saying, that we should not count their loss against round 2?
No, we
yeah, I
shouldn't
don't
count
think
them
they
as
should have
We went to
existing
round
in the
3!
gauntlet.
Woo!
They didn't even.
Yeah, they didn't even turn up.
No, they didn't even post a build. That was just an exhibition match,
Wow.
really.
I mean, like,
Um,
honestly, the torture we already put those teams through, do we really need to do anything? It was embarrassing enough when you know what, that's what it was. It was because you guys broke the rules, we told Majin Vegeta to throw that match.
He's
Oh,
a very
son of a bitch.
upstanding citizen, Margin Vegeta, so he couldn't
He's a
deal with
lovely bloke.
it.
We told him you're taking a dive, Vegeta.
Did we really break the rules?
Absolutely, it's disgusting.
Okay,
Wow.
no. Okay, no, you didn't break
Jeez.
any rules, but we do prefer that if everything. Okay, here's the thing, and this is good for every team. You can talk all you want on Skype, but what we request you do is to share such information in the threads, or do as much as you can in the threads. I understand completely that, because Bert and I do this a lot too. Things are just much faster in Skype than they are on a forum. And Burn does a really good job of this. What he'll do is because I'm so pressed for time and I'm usually editing videos and whatnot, he'll be like, okay, what are we going to do this week? I was thinking this and this, and I'll put an idea. And then he'll go to the forum and said, okay, Squee and I discussed this, and then he'll play it out there. So if you guys do a lot of discussions through PM or Skype, that's all fine. But make sure to put it on your threads. Even if you're the only 2 supporters on your team, have that there, because you never know when someone's going to come to your thread as a supporter and want to be able to read this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what we did.
No. I know.
We got a
that's
lot
why,
of the discussion
That's
down,
why I said you didn't.
and then just went, here's
I
a
love
whole
how
bunch of
defensive he's
information.
being just for
I
the fact
know.
that we were taking
Burn.
the piss. It's great.
Burn.
Jesus.
Burn. That's why I said you didn't break any rules.
Okay.
You do remember me
God.
saying
This
that,
is,
yes?
this is worthwhile pointing out for a few teams, for teams in general as well. And for, as we said, for teams that don't necessarily have many active or any other active supporters, if you have things that come into your head, or your plans for the next couple of games, or your thoughts on a certain game, even for yourself, just writing them down and putting them in the thread doesn't really cost you anything. And to put them in there is useful if you're on your own. And if you're part of a team, and there's just 2 of you talking on Skype, on whatever you use, and discussing stuff outside of the forums, cool, great. But it is a requirement that you put it in your subforum and you have that open to the rest of your team, regardless of how active they are.
And you never know. I mean, some of the people, the admins that float around and watch your stuff, if you're on a team that doesn't have many supporters, you put this stuff down, Look, it's not like we're unwilling to help you too, especially Gray. I know Gray, he was alone on the androids. A lot of times would bounce ideas off of us because he had no one else to bounce ideas off of. If you're alone and you put stuff in your thread, there's nothing saying Rebel might not come in, take a look at it, and give you some advice. It's just beneficial to you to do it.
Ask though, because otherwise we'll do it whenever we feel like it.
Actually, I think you need to ask otherwise, because Rebel's kind of the opinion, and rightly so, that if you don't even ask, then why should we help?
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're just putting ideas down into the subforum and it's just there, and you don't ask us for help, then whatever. It saves me time. I'll just read it and snigger and go away. But that's fine. But and this goes for anybody. This goes for all teams. Just in general, especially now that both HK and I are both completely free agents in this regard. If you have questions, no matter how many fans you have, and no matter how much help you have from other people, if you want to bounce ideas off us, you're more than welcome to do so. So, especially for the off-season again, if you want to have ideas considered, or you want us to look at specific tests, then by all means.
Rebel and HJK are great ones because they're not with a team. You're more than welcome to bounce ideas off of me and Burn too. Just keep in mind that we are still part of Earth Defenders. So if you're facing us next week,
and in
I would
obviously.
Honestly, like what I would do in academic honesty is I would basically say, look, I'm facing you. I do not want to give you advice. But if it's like you've already faced my team, you're not in my division or something like that, I'm more than willing to help you as well. I answer every single, well, let's say 99.9%. Every once in a while a PM slips past me. I thought I answered and I didn't. But I'm very, very responsive to any PMs I get in the forums. A lot of people get this idea that they just can't get a hold of me, and that's just not true. You send me a PM, 90% of the time, I will respond to it, generally that day or the next day.
It's just that, he doesn't talk to us on Skype whenever we try and do it, because he thinks we're beneath him.
Thinks? No. I showed you empirical evidence, HJK. Empirical evidence.
I don't think.
Wrong.
Yeah, I don't think that's still right. I think it's still right.
Now, this empirical evidence may have not gone through peer review or published in the actual journals, but
I am peer
real, or even be real evidence. So.
Details, I say.
Bringing it back to the gauntlet, I will say the one every time. The 2 times we've done it, the best bits about the gauntlet is always watching the coaches try and synergize with each other, because for the entire season they're always the ones steering conversation, offering ideas, etc.
You say always.
Now you've got 4 people.
I take issue with that.
Yeah. Well, most of them then. 4 people you've got all trying to steer conversation in the way that they want. And all trying to get the player that they want to be picked for their gauntlet team. It's just hilarious. Just the best.
It is
That's
very
the best
funny.
thing.
Actually,
South Kai wasn't that hard to steer.
Yeah, but that's because you did it on Skype, so you're actually.
That's because you're all just really passive and a bit.
You're all too nice, and
I'm sorry, maybe it's just me, but the best part of the gauntlet for me is watching the chat freak out.
Yeah,
because it's like they completely forgot last season. And they completely blanked, and so they look at these teams that are pretty much the exact same builds from last season, and they go, holy crap! I love it.
If I was at the stream, I'd probably like that a bit too.
Yeah, you guys haven't even seen the third round.
No, you
Neither have I.
Burn knows the characters, but not the builds.
I know the characters, not the builds. I know they're scary, though.
Oh, yeah, they're scary.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what you mean about scary. I don't understand.
Oh, we'll everyone will know the builds for the first 2 rounds from now on. I mean, I'll post them somewhere when time comes for the gauntlet, so you'll know exactly what you're facing. But the general idea is that round 1 is all about offense, and round 2 is all about defense, which apparently is way stronger than offense.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I guess the best defense is a good defense.
Wait, hang on a minute.
The best offense is a good.
Anyway, let's steer away from this now. Move on to Dimension's next question, slightly edited again. Would there ever be another extra MVP tournament where each MVP in a division formed a team and duked it out with the MVPs of other divisions, or would that be too chaotic? I think that's too chaotic.
I don't
for me
know.
to
I don't know if
understand.
it's chaotic, but it's not needed.
Really,
The
it's basically you're
Tenkaichi,
just forming teams out of the divisions and pitting
Look,
them against each other.
guys, I'm sorry. The
Yeah, pretty
Tenkaichi
much.
Bowl is already 4 hours long.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need to add more events to it, thanks. And a lot of people do ask for things in the off season, like exhibition matches and things like that. But the thing is, I'm kind of against that because I want you guys in the off season. You should have enough to do. You should be focused on building your team. It shouldn't be watching exhibition matches or things like that. It should be every day, all day. You know, I don't care. Quit your job. Leave your girlfriend. I want you to. What I'm saying.
There's a crap ton.
Yeah,
of
what I'm
things to
saying
do.
is that you should be concentrating on building your team, not exhibition matches.
Yeah, most teams should
Yeah.
have quite a few tests anyway, which, you know, is effectively an exhibition of how your player is going to do.
Mhm.
It's kind of the
There's
point.
also like you have to bring up if your followers or your supporters want to switch your home map, if they want to switch their song, if they want whatever they want to do, you have to bring this up. There's a lot of things that you need to decide on.
What costume you're gonna have? I mean, these are important things.
These are important things.
Androids doing it wrong.
No, androids, keep going. It's awesome.
Well, on on that note, the next question and the final question by dimension. During the off season, will there ever be the DP viewer battles like the ones that took place when we delayed the stream? Viewers make their own teams and fight other viewers for fun.
We kind of already went over that one, didn't we?
Pretty much, yes.
I'm reserving that in my back pocket for if such a thing happens again. Every once in a while, my computer messes up or something happens where I can't stream like I planned, and I have 200 people sitting there expecting a show. In that situation, I would rather keep because it was fun. It really was fun doing that. But if I do it too much, then it loses its appeal. I'd rather have it just for that, because that way, if I have 200 people sitting there expecting a show, I can still do something they're entertained in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Seems good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
Pretty sweet.
The next question is from To Be Wolf, and To Be Wolf actually asked 2 questions, so I've condensed them into one super question. Do you feel that the Ginyu Force is shaping up to be contenders next season now that I've got a season of experience under my belt? Or do you still think they need a lot more work done for them? And how do you think I performed as coach for my first season, given as I had no prior experience helping teams in the forums?
Okay, so objectively, by the results, pretty badly. Just by the numbers. However, if you compare the Ginyu Force of this season to the Ginyu Force of last season, it's been a massive improvement. And also the Ginyu Force of earlier on in the season when you initially started to the Ginyu Force towards the end of the season, definitely an improvement. I think the Ginyu Force next season are definitely going to be contenders. We've seen some fantastic things from Jace, Berta, not to mention from Raccoon. As well as Captain Ginyu and Golo. There's been some really quite promising performances from everyone on the team, as well as some stellar stuff, and, obviously less than stellar stuff from all of them as well. So, I think there's a lot more work that needs doing in terms of their consistency, and for some of them, their just, output definitely needs more work. But you are contenders. I think also asking, just one thing I would like to say, this is for coaches in general, and for people asking questions in general, it is incredibly unfair to ask us to comment on your performance. It's very, very unfair. It's maybe less so for me, but for people who worry about being offensive and making you upset, fishing in a sense for compliments is not necessarily your best move. Just putting that one out there.
Right, and I don't think that's I'm not sure that's what you.
No, I'm not necessarily saying that is the case. I'm just saying that it's not a particularly fair thing to ask us to comment on.
Right, because like he said, like me, I am hypersensitive to insulting anyone. So while I would try and give you an honest opinion, I would do my best to sugarcoat it just because that's my nature. So yeah, he's right. It's not the best way to go about doing it. But I will say this: if you look at it objectively, what Rebel said was absolutely right. You saw that as the season went on, the Ginyu Force became more and more a threat. If you honestly, I think that if you had improved faster, you would have been a real contender in the playoffs, which means that if you keep what you learned and just build off of it, you should do better next season. I mean, especially towards the end of the season, you saw some really good things done with Birder.
Yeah,
even Ginyu, even Captain Ginyu did some good stuff.
Captain Ginyu started actually becoming genuinely quite an interesting player to watch play.
So is the question, do we think you did a good job for your first season as a coach? Yes. For your first season as a coach, it was absolutely what we... I was going to say, let me put it this way. It's what we would expect, that you started off green, let's say, and you learn from your mistakes and slowly improved, which is exactly what should be expected of a new coach. But did the team do good overall? No, of course not. Do we think it's shaping up to be a good season next season? Way too early to tell. And I should put this out there for everyone. Don't ask those questions until at least after the preseason, because we just don't know.
Absolutely. Well, even then, here's the thing, right? Are teams going to be shaping up to be contenders next season? One, right now we have no fucking idea. Second, it depends how much they improve next season alongside every other team, because not every other team's going to be stationary. And there are some teams who are going to have more people working on stuff. They're going to come up with different and possibly better ideas. They're going to be bouncing more ideas off more people, and it's just going to be easier for them to hit on the right combination of things to do than others. So, being able to tell from now is not going to be a thing. Being able to tell in week 1 of next season, I don't think is going to be a thing. Those questions are always really, really difficult to answer because you actually have no constant to measure off.
We'll still do it for funsies, but
right.
it won't be serious.
I mean, it's completely conceivable that next season your team doubles in its skill, but every team around you triples and you look like you suck again. So it's impossible for us to say.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it seriously.
Which, by the way, that would be an awesome league if that was the case.
That would be cool. Seriously, work on that.
Actually, you know what? We can go ahead and put this out there, as long as we put it as a caveat that we're still doing extreme testing. Because of my new processor and capabilities, it is now possible to keep the editing program open while we do matches, which allows us to bump the difficulty level up beyond very hard. We still need to do a lot of testing to make sure that this doesn't, because there's 2 difficulty levels, and the highest difficulty level is purposely designed so that they don't throw out B2s, they just do combos because that way you can train. But the difficulty level above that, in between it looks like, from early tests, it looks like everything's the same except they derp less and their melee game's a little better. Which means that it's conceivable that next season every team could perform better, because your melee game would be a bit stronger. You would spend less time just standing there staring at the sky and more time beating on your opponent. However, this is why I stress the however. We need to test thoroughly because we want to make sure that the difficulty is not fundamentally changing the way AIs work or players work, because what's the point if you have to start over from scratch?
Is this with the sparkling thing?
Yeah, the sparkling.
Right.
Yes. Basically, it allows you to increase the difficulty higher than what the game normally does. And from preliminary test, it basically just makes characters perform more competently. And we saw a rise in melee game, but not because it focuses on melee game, but more that because they're just less derpy and more in your face. Which is just naturally going to increase the melee game. What we're testing is to see if AI fundamentals change. Like, for example, if we give Majub his spammage AI, will he still be a spammer? Because if that changes, we might not do it, because it would literally be like saying, everyone, all the work you've done on your team might be worthless now and start from square one.
Reset.
Exactly. So we're doing a lot of testing, but it is possible that you could see some really phenomenal matches next season.
Also, well, I think the resets for season 7, right? We decided that. No, it's just for Earth Defenders, wasn't it? Just Earth Defenders reset.
Oh,
Yeah.
son of a...
Yeah.
No,
Great.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Earth Defenders.
And let me address this because we get asked this every day. When video game A comes out, generic game A, was it Xenoverse this time? It was War Z last time. Will we switch to this game? And let me put this out there and be very, very clear so that you understand everything that you're actually asking. If a new game comes out that has 80 plus characters, that aren't just 80 plus characters, but the 80 plus right characters that we need to keep these teams' consistency, or at least 90% of their consistency, so that you don't have guys going, well, what about the Namix? We can't have a Namix anymore. What are we supposed to do? If a game came out with enough characters to keep our team consistency, had group fights, meaning at least 4-on-4, had a deep customization system, meaning more than let's put an attack on everyone, it has all of that, then we may consider it. But
if
even
it's
then,
Tenkaichi 3 with better graphics.
exactly.
Maybe.
But see, even if it fit all those criteria, it would have to fit all those criteria for the staff to even look at it. Because even then, we have to weigh, okay, is it worth, like what we were saying, resetting? Is it worth throwing away every team's hard work and making them start from scratch just so we have better graphics? It is possible maybe that someday a game will come along that fits all our needs, and for whatever reason, maybe the mechanics just are amazing, that we might sit there and go, you know what, yeah, I think it is worth making every team reset because this game fits the league's needs so much better. The thing is, I wouldn't count on it because it's almost like Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was made just for the league. That's how well it fits it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on possible new games, but I don't expect much to come from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect
We're
much.
going to switch to Budokai 1,
Go for
which
a
is
retro.
the side fighter.
Well, the Xenoverse is being made by the people who made the original Budokai, not Budokai Tenkaichi,
Oh, really?
but the original Budokai.
Oh.
So,
Right, and I will tell you, it's the same core concept of Tenkaichi. In other words, the fights are going to be over the shoulder, 3D view. I mean, it shows promise. I'm probably going to get it when it comes out. The problem is, here's the thing: I bet you it'll have a decent or similar fighting system. I bet you the customization will probably be there because most Dragon Ball Z games have customization that's good enough. It might even have the group fights. My thing is that it'll probably not have the number of characters that Budokai Tenkaichi 3 does, because Budokai Tenkaichi 3 far and away exceeds any Dragon Ball Z game ever made in number of characters.
it's true.
Is this, to be out of interest, is this Dragon Ball Xenoverse?
Yeah.
You're talking,
Yes.
which is going to be a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One only release.
Yes.
So
Yes.
not a PC one.
Yeah, basically that's another sticking point too, is that it would have to be good enough for us to run it without mods. Period. Dragon Ball Z League works as well as it does because we can mod the health of the characters. I mean, that's the big sticker, is that we can make everyone start with the same base health. That's generally
there has
what
to be a certain level of balance to things.
Right. If there's no way to balance it out, then again, that's another hurdle it has to cross. It's conceivable that yes, it'll have all those options, and that's great. But conceivable is not the same as likely.
Yep. So they are. Yeah, they are to be wolf.
Can I just make a point?
Yes.
Right now, Brazil is losing 5-0 to Germany
Brilliant.
in the World Cup. I'm sorry. I don't follow football, but Jesus Christ.
I stopped caring about that. It's clearly rigged. It's clearly rigged. It's all been rigged.
It's Brazil's
You
home World Cup.
all
They shouldn't
rigged.
be losing 5-0.
All
You
rigged.
stopped caring about it as soon as England dropped out.
No.
I
That was just when I
started caring
realised
about
that
England's dropped out.
That was just when I realised it was rigged, Burn. Jesus.
I don't understand. In football, the only ways to score is a safety for 2 points, a field goal for 3 points, or a touchdown for 7. How do you get 5 points?
I think we'll leave a silence there, just of our disappointment.
I hate
There we go. The next question by Gray. He has 3. The first, slightly edited one. How big of a role do you think Android 13's inability to be energy drained played in the Androids versus Muscle match?
In the first match, huge. In the second match, pretty much not at all. In the first match, and Dr. Giro was completely worthless, because he went up against 17, and Giro's strength is his ability to grab. He's an okay at a melee. He's subpar at B2s. His strength comes in being able to grab and shut your key down, and then his okay melee and subpar B2s become amazing because he can do them and you can't. That's what makes him so powerful. You go up against Android 13 and you saw what happened. He had nothing. In match 2, I don't think they ever went up against each other, so it didn't matter.
Well, that's our question answered. The second one is, do you think, overall, B1 focused Bataras are underused at all in the league? I think so, actually. I think it's getting better.
I think Beto's secret art is less so now, but yeah, I think so.
It's getting better, but I think still there are teams that underuse them.
I think there's also the thing of they are quite restricted in certain cases. But yeah, I definitely think they're underused, especially given the power of stuff like false courage and other like pump up and final finish signs, stuff like that. They're definitely underused.
Most B1s obviously the only thing you notice, unless they do like a B1 or something, or B2, sorry, is just a little icon under their health bar. So you're not going to prioritize it. It's almost worse than melee in terms of flashiness, which is why earlier on in League's history, people didn't focus on melee. They focused on B2s because B2s look cooler, and then it's just the same with B1s.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people undervalue not just Pataras but B1 moves in general. Completely undervalue a lot of your B1s. Like perfect thing is when we were debating Power Body. We were doing tests to make sure that it wasn't overbalanced or anything like that, and then everyone we came to the staff, we're like, guys, we got a problem. What? If you put Power Body, the people that have false courage, they have brick wall to everything. We tried everything. We tried max power smash attacks, and it was like it didn't even touch them. And then we were like,
that happens anyway.
well, yeah, but that's just called false courage.
Yep.
That false courage does that no matter what. So you have to understand, false courage is a brilliant thing if used properly. It allowed Roshi to walk through a barrier. I've never seen that before. Tapion's like, hero flute, and Roshi's like, I gives no fucks, and just walked right through it because he had false courage.
Like music.
Yep.
So, and that's not even the most advantageous B1 in the game. So I think a lot of people need to spend some time looking at the B1s of their characters and what they do, which, by the way, I should add, the new player calculator tells you exactly what they do. And sometimes it's worth looking into. There are a lot of people, Say a Woman is a really good example. Say a Woman's melee game is as good as it is largely because of her after image strike, which basically confers immunity for a few seconds in melee, because anytime they try and strike you, you teleport. That's brilliant. There are some really, really powerful B1s that I think are completely underrated in this game.
I agree. And the last question from Gray. Did you expect the Gauntlet and MVP fights to go the way they did this season?
Yes. Well, Gauntlet,
actually,
yes.
I believe I called the Gauntlet completely. I think I said, and I told Byrne, I predict 2 will make it to round 2 and no one will make it past there. So, yes.
Yeah, the Gauntlet went the way I expected. The MVP, you just can't predict it.
Frieza always seems to do well, though. He did well last season,
Yeah,
didn't
the
he?
thing with Frieza is
It's the
his
transformations.
tail swap. No, it's not. It's his tail swap.
Yeah.
I know. It's that.
I was just joking. Jesus.
Whoa!
That bitch slap as well is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I think most of his forms are pretty good, which is why he's just OP and going to be erased from the league. And on that note, we shall move on to Crimson Flames questions. He has 2. The first slightly edited one is, Considering the nature of the MVP tournament, how should teams go about making builds? Should they be serious, discuss every Patara, use largely generic builds, be radical and try out weird Patara combinations, just use a previous build, or something else entirely?
Sit back and have fun. I mean, whatever floats your boat, honestly. Be radical. Dude, be radical. I would love to see some radical builds. The MVP match, the MVP match always has been and always will be a tongue-in-cheek event. It is not to be taken too seriously because, as you saw, Nom was kicking ass all the way to disqualification.
That was the most badass disqualification ever.
I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't at least discuss what to put on him and take it somewhat seriously because, I mean, it's for fun. Sure, if that's for fun, yes. The only thing I'm suggesting is whatever you do, whether it is discuss every Patara or give him a generic build or try something radical or not worry about it, the truth is it should be in the mindset of this is all tongue-in-cheek anyway, and if you lose, who cares? That's the only thing I say. Whatever you want to do it. Just do it with the mind that this is not a serious competition.
Yup, me mama.
Yeah.
And the next question is, to what extent do you think AI testing is effective, considering its inability to replicate match conditions?
As I've harped on multiple times before, I don't think it's as effective as a lot of people seem to bank on it.
Me neither. Considering we both did testing as well, we know what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
no, absolutely. It's like, okay, it's a very, very nice idea to see, in general terms, what your character is capable of doing. However, you are not testing it on the same map to begin with, necessarily, as to what you're going to be playing on. You are not testing it against the same opponents that they're going to be going up against, necessarily. Yeah, there are an awful lot of conditions that need to be satisfied in terms of match play as opposed to a 1v1 test. You know, and then you throw in on top of that the random effect of the game, and you're doing it over what, a best of 3?
We did, didn't we? Yeah,
Or a best of 5? Well, I occasionally do best of 5s, but yeah, you know, it doesn't matter whatever it's over. You still, it can be useful in certain circumstances. However, discounting an AI and saying we have tested it, it didn't do very well in the tests against what we've used in the past, therefore we are going to discount it, is a very, very bad idea. And I can give you a prime example of Freezer. When I was coach of Cold, I did the odd test where Freezer was on TNAI or on Krillin AI and kicked the ass of Freezer on Freezer AI. I then went ahead and went, you know what, I'm putting Freezer on Freezer AI because I think it's good. And I believe Freezer brought back a match against the Super Saiyans off when Cold was pretty much on the verge of everybody calling the match, and single-handedly turned the match around.
No, I don't remember
the
that.
Super Saiyans.
No, I don't think that happened. No.
So, relying on AI tests and saying we've tested it, meh, you know, it didn't work, so we're not going to use it, is a very bad idea.
I would say this, that the reason why tests are not reliable, in addition to the fact that it doesn't necessarily recreate the conditions of the match, but it's because you don't get that much in the way of testing. When we tested Herc, we did brute force testing, meaning I turned my emulator to the lowest setting so that the matches were running at twice the speed and would test things for hours. I did over a season's worth of testing for just one character. If you could do that, then testing would be pretty effective. But we can't. It's not realistic. You can't do that. So the truth of the matter is that the testing, like I said, it gives you, what would you say, a foundation. Testing is good in the high-level concept phase, if you understand what I mean. High-level concept phase means when you... Exactly. But it is not going to be that helpful when it comes down to finalizing a build, working out the little details of a build. A perfect example is you test an AI with Yamcha and he's really good with Rush Blasts, and you make his build for Rush Blast, and you get on the field, and he never gets a chance to do Rush Blast. So never put all your stock into a test, but on the other hand, request tests. Use them. Just understand what they're there for. Just like stats. Stats aren't the end-all, be-all. They're a useful tool, but they are not the only thing you need. In order to make a successful team, you need a combination of testing, looking at your stats, and looking at your opponent. It requires all those. I guess also looking at your character. I that should be assumed, but sometimes needs to be said. It's a combination of all those things, knowing what your character can and can't do, what they're good at and what they're not good at, testing to make sure you know what they can and can't do, what they're good at, what they're not good at, looking at the statistics. For example, look, you can test B2s all you want, but if you see an entire season where your B2 sucked balls, you're going to either have to work on it a lot or just look down at other avenues, and finding out who you're facing and countering them. None of these things in and of themselves in a vacuum will get you a winning team. You have to put them together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think last time I did tests for Super Saiyans when I was coach, it was a long time ago. I think tests help you get a general feel as to how your characters can do, get to know your characters a bit better. But I don't think, I've never, especially after I finish testing, I don't really see them as a way to thoroughly figure out if a character's going to be good on this AI or not. That, unfortunately, is down to matches. And it's just whether it performs or not, which is kind of annoying, because it's kind of win or lose. Well, it's throwing the dice, really. But that's just the way it is. It's the only logical way we can do it. The next question is by Vindicated. This was asked... Hang on. Shit, when was this asked? July the 1st, 2014, 10:31 a.m. The slightly edited question starts off with, it was deja vu. The first two teams to make it to the Tenkaichi Bowl returned. Did this inspire a sense of nostalgia?
No.
Brilliant. I'm not even going to edit that at all. That was beautiful.
I will clarify with not really, and only because the league has evolved so much that it really didn't feel like the same. It really has changed. I mean, it's almost unrecognizable from what it was in Season 1.
I mean, to put it at the most blatantly obvious level, the teams themselves are completely different.
Exactly, yeah.
There's no 18 on the androids. How crazy was that, to think that she was on the androids? That's weird now, to think of it like that. There's definitely no Roshi either on Muscle.
Whoops. No Roshi.
And, yeah, the whole thing was, I guess, in a way it's kind of sad that it wasn't nostalgic, but it is so different, and it's just improved every season. The whole season, actually, is improved every season, not just the bowl.
Yeah.
Ben, you must have watched the first... You watched the first bowl, haven't you, or...?
No, I started at Season 4.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what we can do then? We could probably just... I could screen share the whole bowl right now, and we'll just record it. We'll just put it as a Zcast.
No, that's fine.
No, well, fuck you.
That's
then.
fine.
The second question is, why do you think the androids didn't take the victory?
13.
Yeah, 13. A little bit more than that, but a lot of it comes down to 13. A lot of it, the first round comes to hard counters. That no one matched up against the right opponents for the androids. It just fell bad. Partly, which again, I said, half of it was preparation by Muscle, and half of it was just the dice falling in their favor. But either way. And the second round, fucking, what happened to 17? Where'd that guy go?
He was burnt out by the gauntlet.
He showed up, right? I mean, he was there, right? Because I looked away for a second, and he was gone.
Poor 17.
Yeah, the thing
just
for,
a bad
the thing for
series of
Android in
events.
the first match, in terms of the hard counters, was just sheer bad luck. Really. In terms of 13 and, 20 coming out again. Because the androids lineup was actually, perfectly interspaced with Muscles. And, the characters coming out and doing the various things was luck in general. But yeah, I think the biggest factor in that game was 13 by a long, long shot.
First time in the season.
Pretty much.
The next question is this the beginning of a resurgence for muscle and androids? A new regime, if you will?
Why does everyone always ask that every season and it never pans out? Every time someone wins the Tenkaichi Bowl, are they gonna dominate forever? No.
Well, yeah. Apart from Super Saiyans. Anyway,
Well,
Muscle...
that's been dealt with. It's fine.
It's been dealt with.
Muscle probably go like 3-12 next season because they just can't handle any sort of pressure.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say if you go by past experience, androids are gonna absolutely suck, and Muscle's gonna do completely dominate, but then get taken out in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be surprised if those teams need to carry on improving, because you can bet your ass that their competition isn't going to be resting. I think if Muscle sits back and says, "Hey, look, we made it to the finals," pretty much do what they did after season 3. I think it was that they won last time.
Season 3. What Muscle?
What
No, we won.
Season 3.
Super Saiyans.
What happens in
Super
season
Saiyans
3?
won season 3. Super Saiyans won. How could you not remember season 3? It was the best bowl ever. Come back from a match down. Super Saiyans smash
ago.
Muscle, who had dominated.
Oh yeah, that was it. Muscle dominated for the entire season, right? So Muscle went whatever they went at the end of season 3, and then in season 4, they sucked until mostly the end, where they sort of kind of brought it back to be vaguely respectable, if that. If Muscle does the same thing they did at the beginning of season 4 and at the end of season 3 and just sort of sits back, then they are going to run into exactly the same thing at the beginning of season 6. Because, as being the winners of the Tenkaichi Bowl, they are just going to be painting a massive target on themselves that people are going to want to beat them and are going to want to take them down. As for the androids, I don't think that's likely. They've been on a steady improvement for quite a while now, I think. And, they've been very steadily keeping themselves as a consistently strong and consistently dangerous team. I think they're improving, and I think that the fact that they didn't do especially well in the finals is going to make them more keen to do better next season and to actually get that much further, because I think it was probably quite a surprise for them to get as far as they did. And it shows an awful lot of potential in that team. So, yeah, I think they've got a lot to work on. I think they will.
Yep. I agree. The final question.
I fundamentally disagree, but I can't be bothered to explain why.
Brilliant. Who do you think was the most influential character in the match for both Muscle and the androids?
Aurelie.
13.
Aurelie,
Pycon.
the most powerful android ever.
Obviously 13 for Muscle. Who for androids?
Cell. Cell was really good in those matches.
I think influential in terms of influencing how the match went, I would have said Giro in the first game and 17 in the second.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
They
I
didn't get
didn't.
the ability to perform the way they should.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, 17 was absolutely the most influential. If we're not talking about positively influential, just influential in general. Yes, then 17 had a large impact on the outcome of that match.
Poor 17.
Yeah, you can't even blame 17 for that. He didn't have time to derp.
I guess we can let him off this once. It's not like he's been shit all season. The next question is by Zestan. Yes, that's what I said, Ben. God. How do you think the androids and Team Muscle try to counter each other's strategies, builds, etc.?
They won't.
No, how did they?
Oh, how did they? I don't think they did much.
Oh, brilliant.
To be honest with you, I think, with the exception, I think if you'd have seen an android starting, then you could have read something into that, perhaps. Or, sorry, if Android 13 had started, or if, Giro or Cell had started, then, you can read something into that. Apart from that, I don't know if they did, to be honest with you. I didn't see anything along those lines. And I don't, looking at the builds and the lineups, I don't think that they show anything along those lines. I think they're just, you're putting out a team that you think is solid and reasonable against your opponents. So I don't really see it.
I agree.
Yep, me too.
And with that, we move on to Viper Kang's question asked July 8th at 3:27 a.m. Jesus, it's early. With the season over, having seen all the teams perform this season and give it their all, how do you think each division will shape up next season? Who do you peg, as of now, to be possible frontrunners in each division, and who do you think will lag behind now that we know who is in each division, and basing your opinions on the assumption that teams will be performing relatively the same as they did this season?
Right.
But you can't do that.
You cannot make that thing because it doesn't work. If teams perform the same as they did this season, the results will be the same as they were this season. By definition. With the exception of they're just going to be in different divisions. So the people that are currently top of those divisions will be top of those divisions, and yet the fact that they're still in those divisions, and when it gets to the playoffs, they'll be up against the better teams in the upper divisions, they will then lose, and the results will then be the same.
Well, no, let me just put it a very easy way. Look at how the new divisions have lined up. Like North Kai has Super Saiyans, Majins, Earth Defenders, Muscle. That's how we think they would do. If they do exactly the way they did this season, that's how they will do next season. Just take a look at that, and that'll get your answer. But that's why you can't assume that, and that's why we can't answer that question honestly, because we have no idea how they're going to perform yet.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can reasonably base it off. We've had, 15 weeks of season play, all of the testing, all of the improvements on that. We've then had the playoffs, and we're going to have the off-season of testing and stuff. Basing our opinions on what has gone before, well, you already know the answer because it's what's happened this season, pretty much. And also, it doesn't... there's nothing there to answer. Because it's either going to be the same as it was this season, or there's no point looking at it from that point of view because it's going to be different.
Yup.
Pretty much.
Yes. Game Junkie asks, literally 23 minutes after this, what do you see as the most significant change for Season 6? I would say either Power Body or Player Calculator.
I would say Player Calculator. I think that if people utilize it well, we're going to see a lot more refined builds.
Yes.
I think Coach
And a lot more rogue builds too.
That's true.
Jeez.
I think the blades are going to be good now that Derangel's gone on.
Whoa!
Shots fired!
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, he knows I'm playing. I think Derangel actually did a decent job with the blades, except man, that Jaunimba and Trunks, he couldn't just seem to figure those two out.
Yeah, they were a pain in the ass for him. I think significant. I'm not sure. There are quite a few that are on the same kind of par. It depends how people use them. I'm very interested to see how the Super Saiyans will figure out Super Saiyan 1, especially with HDK and it seems Himmel not being there with a new coach. That'll be very interesting. And also Hercule getting the Draconic Aura as to whether the new coach of Derp and the team behind them, whoever they end up being, will be able to figure that one out. I think those are the ones I'm most interested in seeing. Although Power Body kind of figures into that as well. Pretty much the options we're giving people and the extra stuff we're adding in terms of the mechanics that we're going to be working by themselves, I'm quite interested in seeing. Significant, I don't think you can really pick a single one.
Well, I picked 2, so I'm sorted by that rule. The next question is by Vabigang again. He's loving it. He's loving
Greedy.
it. He's loving the Zcast. He's loving it. He's taking up all this space on the thread.
Just
He
boosting his
asks
post
us because that's very important.
Yep.
Very important. Your post count. What is /R your favorite moments that came out of this season's Tenkaichi Bowl?
I quite enjoyed the gauntlet. I still like the
probably
fact that
would be the
nobody
gauntlet.
made it to round 3. That's probably my favourite
I-
moment when the last team was just crushed. That was cool.
I think the best moment was when
I
Super
don't
Saiyan
know.
4 Goku and Vegeta fused for the first
Yeah,
time.
no, that was funny. That
Because
was really good. Yeah.
It's not something anyone had noticed or
Yeah.
acknowledged in the commentary or in the stream or in the chat or anything.
Yeah.
And
it was just this sudden.
Oh yeah, they can do that.
Oh, well, shit.
Oh, right.
And
That's a
I gotta
thing
remember.
that can be done.
Well,
I gotta remember. I have to push to talk, otherwise no one can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you talking
I would rate this as a top 4. I would say, and not necessarily in any order. I'd say Nam ringing himself out. I would
Agreed.
say Jace's and Android 17's finales for the round 1 of the gauntlets were mind-blowingly good. And like he said, the chat room when Gogeta fused for the first time, when Goku and Vegeta, not the fusion dance. That's not what set everyone off. When he fused and you saw nothing but blue. That's when
Yeah.
everyone in the chat room was just like, the fuck?
blue health bars. Oh God, the blue. Oh Jesus.
so pretty.
It's so rare. I imagine that. I wish I was there to see that, but you know,
For
that's
me,
probably was it. Yeah.
for me, it was definitely Nam, hands down. I'm sorry, but it is.
That might be the second.
Mhm.
Can't think of any other. Can't you know? I don't. Who won again? I don't,
Nobody
I don't know.
important. That's fine.
Exactly.
Nobody important.
Clearly, no one significant. Anyway, the next question is by Gur53. He asks, "Who do you think will be the teams to watch next season? In other words, who do you see as having the most potential to grow, given an off-season to test and find new builds, AIs, or even new players?"
See, that's a question I can answer. That works. I like this person. Should keep them in the box and get them to ask questions every now and then. Can we do that?
I think that's frowned upon.
What? That'd be silly.
Hmm.
That's ridiculous. You'd frown upon
Oh, okay. Okay, you win.
that. Yay! Awesome. I honestly have absolutely no idea. I'm actually
Brilliant.
really interested
Brilliant.
to see how Ginyu do next season. I think that the Super Saiyans are going to be a team to watch next season as to how they're going to deal with, their players being in Super Saiyan 1. That's going to be really fun. I'm very curious to see how the Saiyans work, actually. I'm going to be curious to see, and Dragon Ball Wars, see whether or not they switch out certain players, get new ones in, and also sort of work out the kinks in some of the other players and try and figure things out there. Just everyone's going to be teams to watch. I don't know.
I think. I'm going through.
I've warned you about this thinking business. AJ. Come on.
I think Muscle will be the one to watch. See if they can retain any sort of championship performance, or whether they slip like they did before.
Yeah, no.
I think Earth Defenders are going to be the ones to watch because they have a competent coach and more importantly, an amazingly attractive and intelligent man behind the scenes that the coach
Pulling the
talks to a
strings.
lot. That is going to take this team all the way next season.
Who are Earth Defenders?
Why would anybody defend a broken
You know,
rock? I
HJK
don't-
jealousy is a horrible thing.
I'm not jealous.
really
I have
is.
no affiliation to any team.
I'm talking about
whatsoever.
me. Your jealousy of me.
Putting my drink all over the
Your
place.
modesty. Your modesty is second to none.
God damn it, Squeak, my
Oh,
keyboard's
dear.
soaking.
Oh dear. Burn. Who do you think?
Saiyans definitely are going to be ones to take a look at because of who they might be taking a look at. I want to see if they do end up taking RUGRATS, what they can do with them. There's also Dragon Ball Warriors, who is always a threat, and past season they jumped up one division. This season they jumped up another division. So, will they be able to jump up to North Kai? They put their heads together?
The thing about North Kai is there's always this sort of North Kai curse that
Oh,
3
there's
teams will do
no-
awful.
There's
There'll
no
be
North
one-
Kai curse. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's because, oh yeah, you're in North Kai, aren't you?
Yeah, I
Forgot
know.
about that. Forgot
I
about
am in
that.
North Kai.
That would be funny. I mean,
Yeah, no, fun. is the
Anyway.
word.
Squee, is your answer the Earth Defenders and the
Yes.
beautiful man behind
Yes.
it? quote unquote?
Absolutely.
Right, brilliant.
massive quotation marks.
Yes. And I will also say the Earth Defenders because I have a lot of ideas. And
There
I'm
you are,
totally not
there you are.
biased in the slightest.
I have one idea, but it's very important idea.
No, I
I've
have-
got an idea. Got an idea.
Wow.
Here we go.
We replace the Earth Defenders.
Burn. Oh,
Well,
yeah,
and
the
him
Earth
as well. We don't want
Defenders.
him here either.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. Can I become an admin then?
Yeah,
That'd be
sure,
silly.
sure. We'll give you a special type of admin where you don't have a bold name.
We'll give you a special type of
don't see the
admin where you
forum.
can only see one thread, and you can't see anything that's posted in it.
But we will
It's a
give
very-
you a giant name tag made out of watercolors that will say
Yep.
admin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. To send to you, it'll be a physical one. But you're not putting it on the forum.
No, you're
and
not
it'll
having that
get
on
to you
forums.
eventually.
Fuck.
Yeah, Jesus, calm down.
You're not giving any recognition. The hell?
Jeez.
So yeah. So I think that's 3-1. So there we
Yep.
go. Right here, live on the Zcast. Decision's been made. Huzzah for Timelines asks 5 minutes after Gur's question. My goodness gracious me. Rank your top 3 Tenkaichi bowls.
No.
Wait,
That's not a question.
you mean
as well.
considering that there's only 5?
Yeah.
I don't even remember half of them. I mean, you're asking me to remember 4 hours that over like the past 2 years. I don't know. I will tell you this though. I do know that a lot of the Tenkaichi Bowl matches themselves have been underwhelming. The only one I can remember that was like really edge of your seat was Super Saiyans versus Muscle when the Super Saiyans were the underdogs.
Yeah.
Most this is sad. It's sad because it's almost like every Super Bowl. Most of them are blowouts. Most of them are, for whatever reason, one team completely dominating the other team.
Yeah, I can't rank them. I don't have a... No. I don't remember them well enough to rank.
I would say season 3 is number 1.
No shit. Let me guess, season
Season
4's number
5.
2?
No, season
Wow.
5 is number 2, and season 1 is number 3.
I'm sorry, what?
So he doesn't even include season 4 when the Super Saiyans won.
That's incredible.
Well, that was a given, to be fair, wasn't it? So it wasn't even.
Wow.
I was just like, whatever. Another bowl.
Let me go ahead and just put this next to all my other trophies.
Oh, let's just push them off the edge there to fit it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's smashed. Who cares?
Who cares? We'll get another
I'll
one
just
next
pick
year.
up another one on the way to the store, shall I?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
they're only a pence per trophy. So.
Funny thing is, that's actually what our private forum's like. We don't discuss builds at all. Anyway, Berlin.
Like I said, and I keep saying, I've only been around since season 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I only know of 2 bowls, so those are the. I only got 2 bowls under my belt.
What a
enough.
newbie.
Speaking of Burn, Hazard's
Mhm.
second question is specifically for Burnerator. He asks, when can we expect the calculator to be available? At the end of the off season or somewhere at the beginning?
I'm just gonna read between the lines there. Hurry the fuck up! Sorry.
No, I understand. And that's the reason why I kept it secret for so long, was that. People saying,
Rebel.
hurry the
It was
fuck up.
Rebel. It was Rebel.
Yeah,
that did
Rebel
it.
saying hurry the
Hello.
fuck up. I'm shooting for the end of July. That's what I'm shooting for. It should be all done and available
It's
to
not
everybody.
a very good shot. Planet Science taught us this.
I have like 500 MS on your server.
I actually saw
And-
him trying to shoot it into orbit in hopes it would come back around and hit them that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't. It
Instead,
hit
he
him.
just hit the floor
It was
because
really
he hadn't
fun.
turned the safety off.
I just look straight up and throw grenades. It's fun.
Don't move. You don't move. 'Cause it
No,
comes
no,
back to you.
that would defeat the purpose.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
a
there you go.
special
There you go.
sort of job.
There you go. That's your answer. Is that
But yeah,
happy?
it hopefully the end of this month, end of July, and we should be golden. If not, oh well. It'll be like another week, maybe. But end of July.
8 months. Maybe 9.
I should also probably put here, even though I don't think anyone's actually asked, off season will be about 3 months long. Basically, when Naruto League Season 2 ends, is probably when the preseason will start, which means I get no breaks.
Yeah.
No breaks for me.
Suck
There's
it,
no breaks on
bitch.
the
However-
on the squee train.
However, there will never be matches every other week. Once Season 2 ends for Naruto League, I will be handing that off completely to Darkness. I mean, Darkness already runs it. I just record and commentate and all that. But I won't be commentating Season 3, except maybe as like a special guest, perhaps. But so when Season 2 for Naruto League ends, Darkness will take all of that over, and I will concentrate solely on DBZ League, and that's when the preseason will start. I do know that the preseason will only be 4 players, not 5 players, because we ran into huge problems this season trying to do 5-player matches 8 times a week, every week. But here's what'll happen. It'll be 4 players, but any 4 players from your team that you want. You don't have to worry about rotations. You don't have to rotate at anyone. You can do the same 4 players every week if you want to. I don't care. And I haven't decided if it's going to be a 3-week preseason or a 4-week preseason. I don't mind doing a 4-week preseason. The only reason why I'm considering making it shorter is for a couple of reasons. One, so that we just get to the season faster, so that there's less weeks that just don't matter to everyone but the actual dedicated testers. And 2, because I kind of like the idea of the preseason should not be where you test builds. The preseason should be where you refine the builds that you've already tested. Does that make sense? And I think too many people use the preseason as the starting point. So I've considered shortening the preseason to 3 or even 2 weeks because I don't want to encourage, well, we'll just wait till the preseason and then we'll start testing all these builds. No. The preseason should be the last step of we've already determined what our team should be, and the preseason is for our chance to actually see how it works in a real match setting for refinement. So honestly, I don't think you need more than 2 weeks. 3 possibly. I don't know.
I'd be quite on for a 2-week preseason. I'd quite enjoy that.
I
You just get
agree.
a taste of what's going on, then
Exactly.
you're not waiting
And then-
a month for the season.
That's
to start.
exactly what I was saying. Yeah, you don't have a month of matches who really don't count. And if anyone out there says, "But I really need it for the testing," no, you don't. That just means you didn't do enough testing in the off season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, no, fair enough. The final question from Hazard for Timelines. How do you rate your team's chances, who you root for if you're a staff member, of getting to the bowl next season?
Go on, Earth Defenders.
I have no idea. It falls in the same question of how do I think teams are going to do next season. I don't know.
Yeah, even then, it's stiff competition in North Carolina.
Well, here's the reason why it's impossible. Even if I could somehow come up with an idea of how I think my team will perform, I have no idea how the other teams will perform. Therefore, I could have my team could improve 8 times and still not even make it to the playoffs.
I would laugh so hard.
You know what? I would say that would be a damn good season to watch.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
I don't think so.
I'd be Santander.
Just pour water on that.
I'd still
Yeah,
find it
I'm the
hilarious. I
same.
don't give a shit what you think.
I don't really know because it's the same. I think every team has a good chance to get to the bowl. There are very few teams, like one or two, that are less likely than others to get to the bowl. So until you know what actually is going to, until you're
Yeah,
like
I think you
a
need
few weeks
a
into the
season. You need a season first, at least a season, or at least half a season, before you can say, I think these people are most likely.
You need to wait until after the semi-finals before you
Yeah.
really think who you think is going to be in the bowl.
Absolutely.
Really. Mm. There we go then.
And even then, you might still get it wrong.
Yeah. Well, you would. Anyway, next question. KO asks, out of all the matches this season, even the preseason, what do you think your favourite match/moment has been? So now I mean, that's quite a lot.
It's a lot of
That's
games.
quite a lot to try and remember.
Like, I barely remember what happened in Bowl, let alone what happened, like,
And you watched that
however
like
many-
yesterday.
Yeah, no, I only watched this, like 24 hours or so, or something like that.
Can I say my favorite?
Go!
No.
Nam versus Goku. It's a match. It's a match.
And it's a moment.
Is it
Alright.
It is a
is it
moment.
limited to just this season?
Yes.
Because I would have said King
Yes.
Piccolo versus Frieza. You know what? I'm still gonna say King Piccolo versus Frieza.
Okay. Probably. I mean, maybe the time when Deborah did the early victory lap. That was probably
Ooh.
the best moment I can remember.
Ooh.
But to be fair, I don't even remember that. I just posted. the
That was
topic saying-
hilarious. But you know what? He kind of made up for it during the playoffs with the Earth Defenders, though.
You
He
don't
says
have to
bitterly.
remind me.
But that victory lap, I forgot about that. That was brilliant. It's like, no,
Yeah.
Deborah, you're not done yet.
That was pretty
You know,
funny.
he was humming
Nappa
to
was
himself.
just trying to hit him with stuff.
You know, he
It's
was
like,
just
"Come
he was
back."
just humming to himself.
Why can't I leave the arena yet?
I killed him. Why can't I leave? Why can't I
Yeah.
leave? Oh God!
Yeah, I'm not
That's
gonna.
pretty good.
I'm
I like that.
not gonna pick one. Yeah.
Rebel
I
doesn't even
refuse
remember
to
what
answer
time
the
I woke up this
question.
morning. So. The final question. No, not the final question. The second final question is by FCD. He asks, number one, with some of the biggest faces of the league that dropped their place as coach in the last few seasons, lately, Derangel and me, biggest face of the league, it seems we are entering in a new generation of coaching. Do you think it's necessary for a league like this to change their coach to offer a new, fresh product?
Nope. Because you can have people coming in and customizing, bringing in new ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
The purpose of
A
the
coach
purpose
is
of the coach.
basically-
Go.
They're basically just the face of the team.
Yeah.
They
the only
do all
requirement
the admin
really-
stuff.
Yeah, that's literally it. So
Yeah.
yeah, if the team works well enough and has an intelligent coach that's listening to their team and taking the ideas and working with them and suggesting their own, then no, it's definitely not required.
That's an if.
You know, that
So
should be
some
But
That
if they're
is
not
legit.
paying attention to their team, then they're not going to be the coach for very long.
that should be that
Exactly.
should be pointed out to anyone who tries out for a coaching position. You need to really understand. I think people put way too much emphasis on being a coach. You need to understand that the only difference between being a coach and just being a supporter is mainly that you are responsible for posting builds and you are expected to start conversations. You're expected to be the one that prods conversation out of your supporters, that cattle prods them into action. But your voice doesn't actually count any more than anyone else's. The only time you get anywhere near an ounce of power more than anyone else is in a tie. That's it. The perfect example. I'm not the coach of the Earth Defenders anymore. Burn is, but I am just as active and throw out just as many ideas as Burn. Well, no, not as Burn, because dear Lord, your ideas are just like an endless well. But the point is, I don't
Quality
feel
over
like I have.
quantity, eh?
I honestly do not
Hey.
feel like I have any less control over that team than I did before, because I didn't really have that much control. But the point is that there are a lot of you, if you're trying out to be a coach, you shouldn't be looking at this because I want to be in charge of that team, because that's not what you are. If you're trying out for a coach, basically what you're trying out for is the right to post the builds and showing us that you're competent enough to lead discussion amongst your teammates.
It's true.
So if you try out for a position and you don't make it, or you or whatever, honestly, let's say Byrne and I both tried out for the coach of Team Derp, and Byrne makes it and I don't. Honestly, the only thing that should mean to me is that I don't have to worry about posting the final build, because I can still do everything a coach does. I can still be the one that prods conversation. I can still come up with just as many ideas and fight for them and have just as much say as the coach does in the team. The only thing I don't get to do is post final builds. That's it.
Or be listened to.
Oh. Because while I'm saying that the coach is expected to prod the team into action, it's not like the coach is the only one who can prod the team into action.
Yeah.
I also should say this again, just real quick. We say this all the time, but since the off season is starting and this is supposed to be the brain phase where you go to the drawing board, every team, if you want to improve, here's how you do it. Don't agree with the ideas put before you. And what I mean by that is, don't just say, yes, I like it. Any response you have should be a critical analysis. Let's say you love the idea. Let's say that idea is perfect. There's always something that can be discussed, something that can be improved, something that you can be sure of. I love this build, but what about if we come across that? Or I love this build, but what about this? I don't understand why that's there. Why don't we put this there? That is how your team grows. It grows through discussion. It does not grow when someone says, how about this build? And 5 people go, I love it, do it. Your team will not grow that way.
I agree. The thing I agree with most, though, is when he said that, I was the biggest face of the league in the last few seasons.
What, you mean the biggest face? No, I said you were the biggest face I've slapped today. That's what I said.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about you.
No. FCD said that, but...
Silly squee.
I thought the world revolved around me.
Oh, dear. The second question. Talking about new products. Do you believe that one day the league is going to have to replace some teams with new ones simply to freshen things up? Pretty hard to run a show every season for the next few years without making changes. So do you think it will have to happen one day?
Why is it pretty hard? Isn't it easier to run a season with no changes?
I was going to say, we've managed it for X number, nearly, 3 years now?
Do you guys have any idea how much work it is for the staff to make even the simplest of changes? Do you know how much blood we leave behind?
How much of my blood we leave behind?
What you're talking
God
about.
dang it.
The answer is simply, personally, no. I don't think we would ever have to change teams to just quote-unquote freshen things up. In fact, I think the longer the same teams stick around, the more people are attached to it, the more invested people become in the league.
Agreed.
A perfect example would be a fan of a football, either football. American football or European
football. Football isn't proper football.
Yeah, exactly. Proper football.
Yes. Proper, whatever. If
That's why it's called American football. Otherwise, it would be called football.
You will see that a fan who's been a fan of a team for 20 years will generally be far more passionate about the sport than someone who's been a fan of a team for 2 years. It's just that's the way it is, because you build a legacy. You've been through so much. If we put new teams into it, I think you would get an opposite effect. Because you have new teams, and especially for new people or people who just watch this casually. Here's one thing that a lot of us don't grasp, because a lot of people that watch the Zcast are huge supporters and put a lot of effort and time and understand the league inside and out. The majority of our viewers are casual viewers. And they came into this and they got into this and they enjoy it because the teams are very easy to identify with. Team Cold, I loved Frieza, I loved Cooler. Hey, I like Team Cold. Or I love the Namex, I'm going to fit with the Namex. I love the Saiyans, I'm going to fit the Saiyans. If we change the team themes and get rid of them and just either make new teams or teams that don't really have a theme but whatever you want, it's great for the 100 or so who well, it could be great for the 100 or so who participate every day in and day out. But think of the casual viewer. What team are they going to support and why would they support them? What theme do they have to latch onto if you have a team of Piccolo and Bardock and Bojack? I mean, what theme is there for it? Why would he look at that team and go, oh, this is a team I want to support? It doesn't really work that way, which is one of the many, many reasons why we don't change teams or themes for that matter.
It's true.
Yeah! Woo!
I've got nothing to add to that.
So
HJK.
I'm leaving all this in. Leaving all this in. It's that. I'm actually going to extend the silence for about 5 minutes. So
Oh, God.
there you
Okay.
go.
I'm just not going to press push to talk, and I'm going to be rambling on about something else. And
You guys have no idea. I think at least twice now I have just talked without holding down the button. So
It's funny,
HJK, have fun
do
with
the
that in the
opposite with
editing.
Skype.
Yeah.
I actually press push to talk while I'm on
um,
Skype. It's really irritating.
I am warning you. I got up during one
I'm
part
sorry.
and got some. Yeah, I got up
What?
and got some beef jerky, and I was munching on it earlier. So you're gonna have.
How did I not notice
Some
that
of
when
us
you were sitting
had
next
the
to us?
courtesy to mute our microphones when we got up and walked away.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I completely forgot. My bad.
God.
And the
People
worst
these
thing
days.
about it is we're all sitting around this table, and we didn't even notice Ben leave.
None of us even knew.
Is that irrelevant? I mean, really.
Ouch.
Well, in the picture, I'm Krillin, so I'm.
Oh
short,
yeah.
so I can just
Okay. Yeah,
disappear.
that makes sense.
I'm
I
the
think
shadow under one of the chairs.
you're more likely Vegeta, just irritable and a pain.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
The last question is by Fraser Taser, asked today at 7:07 p.m. The first question: do you think Team Cold deserves all the negative feedback?
What negative
I
feedback?
would ask what negative feedback
The bricks,
specifically?
the bricks through the windows. God.
Oh, right, yeah, no, absolutely.
The
I
family
see
death
that,
threats.
yeah. No, if you're talking about some of the comments that Team Cold received in the videos, then no, of course not. If you mean the negative feedback that they've received on things like the Zcast and the comments on the performance of the team itself, then yes, because they're, 4-11? No, 4-11? What are they at, HK?
Well, to be fair, who cares? If
Wasn't
we say
impressive.
they've done crap,
5 and
then,
10.
they've done crap.
5 and 10.
5 and 10. They're in South Kai next season. They've dropped from North Kai to South Kai. There has to be some negative feedback somewhere. So, all of it? Probably not. Most of it? Probably, yeah. It's been an abysmal season for them. Certainly compared to what they did last season. It hasn't gone particularly well at any point. It's not like certain teams that started off on a high note or ended on a high note. It's been just a very bad season for them in general. So there needs to be negative feedback somewhere there, or they're not going to improve.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at it realistically. Team Cold had a really bad season, so some negative feedback is completely warranted and it's going to happen. Just remember that there's a difference between constructive negative feedback, which is useful to you, and people who are just taking a piss, which you shouldn't listen to because screw them.
It's the internet.
Yeah, it's you've no idea how much negative feedback I get on everything I do. That I just have to be aware of, and every team should do this. Make a filter, understand and learn what's good feedback and what's just someone who's pissed because something didn't go their way, or whatever, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, or they think you're not funny or whatever. Just let it all flow.
It all splash on your face.
So yeah, like Rebel said, is some negative feedback warranted? Absolutely. Your team had a bad season. Now there's 100 reasons why this could be and why it is, but yes, your team had a bad season, so you should expect negative feedback. But you should not worry about, or nor do you deserve, any insulting negative feedback, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the feedback is useful. The insults are not. The feedback you need to pay attention to and work on. The insults you should ignore.
I'm just waiting for the "unless it comes from me" part.
We don't even need to say it now.
I don't really need to bother because everybody pays attention when I say something. So,
sorry, Rebel, did you want to say something or?
Not to you. No, you're not.
No,
important.
right. Okay, thank God. Right then.
Yes. What are you thanking me for?
The last question, Fraser Taser, and the final question for the Zcast Season 5 is: who are your favourite teams outside of, if you have any, your own?
I've always been partial to the Vals. I like the Vals. And I think part of that is because in Season 1, the Vals were absolutely horrid, and they have their roller coaster, but they've improved overall, and I love cheering for a team that starts off bad and gets better. So I would say if I did not support Dragon Ball, oh my God, why?
Good
What
job,
is wrong with
Squeeze.
me?
Wow.
Why? Every time.
Again.
If I did not,
Only
if
get
I
through
did,
with Zcast without saying.
you know what? And here's the worst part. I'm not even a huge fan of the Dragon Ball Warriors. I got nothing against them, but they're not like a team I really push for or enjoy. So I don't know why I keep confusing the two. If I was not a supporter of Dragon Ball, oh damn
Brilliant,
it!
brilliant.
No.
It's almost like it's intentional now.
I wish, because then I could claim some sort of intelligence in the matter. If I was not a supporter of Earth Defenders,
There we
I would
go.
probably be
Yay.
a supporter of the Valkyries.
The other teamed person?
Burnator.
I've always been partial to Muscle. The reason being is the characters on the team. Roshi is one of my favorite characters. But
It's the perviness that does it.
Yeah,
yes.
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also am sort of partial to Dragon Ball Warriors, because, again, they have a few of the characters that I really like. But if I were not the coach, or at least a supporter of the Earth Defenders, I wouldn't be supporting any team. The Earth Defenders are my team. Period.
Mine.
That's my boy.
Mine would probably be the Gohans, because they're the closest to the Super Saiyans you can get without picking the Super
Oh
Saiyans.
God.
So that's that.
Not because they're a great team, not because you really enjoy them, but just because they're the closest to what you are.
Yep. They even have
I
a
don't
member.
think you can call HDK super under any circumstances.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They even have a member of Super Saiyans on their team. It's almost like they're our little brothers.
That's like saying if I wasn't part of Team Cold, I'd probably choose Blaze because they're the only one with a member with a tail.
And I don't see the problem. Rebel.
I don't really do favorite teams.
Come on, it's the last question of season 5. Come on.
My two favorite. I would say that my 2 or 3 favorite teams right now are Dragon Ball Warriors, Valkyries, and Saiyans, because those teams are the ones that seem to me to put the most effort in and discuss the most between their members. And I like that, and the amount of work that those guys put in and do is really, really cool. But that's for the people that are in the teams rather than the teams themselves. I do not do favorites because it means that I then become unbiased, which means that then I'm not doing my job properly. So,
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. Rebel is a Saiyans fan through and through for life in it. Yo. In
it, bruv.
it, bruv. That's right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the Zcast post Tenkaichi Bowl, post season 5. It's been a heck of a ride. Anything to say to sum up this season's Zcasts?
No.
Brilliant. Wow.
No, I'm good.
Right. Revel.
Burn sucks.
Okay, slightly better. Squee.
I want tacos.
And that pretty much sums it up. There we go.
Sums it up with HDK's phone vibrating on the desk.
That wasn't mine. I don't even know whose that was.
HJK's phone.
No, I'm blaming HDK. I'm going with it.
Seems to fit the theme. And
Yep.
we
No,
shall
it's
see.
me getting some call from ID USA. What the hell kind of town is ID?
I think that's where you bought the tacos.
It's like
I
I'm
know,
not even like.
it the makers of Quake. They want you to voice act the ball.
Only you would know that.
Rugrats.
I guess.
Oh dear. Oh dear. We shall see you all at the beginning of season 6.
Or at some point in between.
No.
Maybe. I feel like it.
No.
The Zcast. And by the way, I want to say thank you to HJK because this will probably be the last one that he, not that he's a part of, but that he edits.
Because you're
Getting
fired
rid
because
of
you've been
it.
shit all season.
I'm probably going to be taking over. I'm probably going to be taking over the duties of the Zcast from now on. But if during the off season we determine that a Zcast is necessary for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Or you guys have asked enough questions.
Yeah, exactly.
We might do
then we might do
purely
another one.
questions based one. But
Mm-hmm. No, actually, we will also discuss how we think the teams have done over the course of the off-season matches.
that's true.
Yes, which means that we're just going to do a question-based.
Pretty much. Yeah, I won't remember.
Well, look forward. I'm sure you'll all look forward to it.
Better fucking do.
Better fucking do. That's right.
Yep.
Thank you very much for sticking with us through season 5, and we shall see you next season.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.